Yes, this is basic geometry. Your flat Earth geometry. Flat Earth geometry. This is basic geometry.
It is.
I called you a flat earther.
My name's Rumpus.
Insisting that your flat Earth geometry will work.
I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad, naked caveman eyeball in a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry.
Did he say a five-sided square question mark?
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
You're drunk.
I called you a flat earther.
You want to experience true level? Do you? Yes. You want to experience true level?
That auto level is establishing a horizontal. That's just the way it is.
Because I've done the test with an auto level, which gives you a horizontal.
Yeah, it's gonna look super flat.
All right, come on. Wow, it's so...
Three coplanar points.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Are you suggesting that horizontal can't curve?
Oh, everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Ranty, come on, that's a globe. He eventually just gave up and said, yeah, I agree, it's a globe.
Geodesic is a continuous string of infinitely small, straight lines.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
It's really flat and level now.
Ranty, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Ranty, come on, that's a globe.
Lance to the cosmic slaughter! Well? You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember. Why? Good question.
Ranty, come on, that's a globe.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little. Wow, it's so... Oh my god! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Ranty, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch. Wow, it's so... Oh my god! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Person to think.
When you get to the end of this test and you have a result and you say level is horizontal and everyone says big whoop, that doesn't prove anything about the shape of the Earth, will you then say yes it does?
No.
No. Okay, I'm going to bed. All right.
Okay, so you...
I'm going to bed.
That level is horizontal is good for you then, right?
I agree. I agree level's horizontal. All
Sweet.
Right,
true level, bitch.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nice, mate. I came
Nice.
in just for that. You flipped it, man.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
And we are live. Welcome everybody. It is Free for All Friday. And well, it's been a bit of an eventful day. The ripples of, I don't know, the ripples of words spoken seem to be upsetting people. And like, it's not just the words spoken just recently. These are things that we've been saying for years. So I don't really know what would... I've got some stuff I'd like to go over, but I mean, hey, it's all a bit drama-y and people getting upset and butthurt about us saying certain things, and nobody really wants to come and talk to us about it because they say they can't really come and talk to us about it. I don't really think that's the reason. So, it is Free For All Friday. Now's your chance. I can go over some of the things that other people have said about me. But, I mean, it would be nice if they said it to me rather than in talking about me. There's a couple of people who were talking about. One of them's Rumpus. He can't talk about stuff. Blue Marble misrepresents everything. Seems like Sleeping Warrior's got a bit of a fucking bee in his bonnet about something. Riling everybody up. Nathan Oakley's jumped on as well. It's all good fun. I think everybody's having a go. Simple things said that upset really a lot of people. So has anybody got anything for Free For All Friday? Other than drama? Anything? Well, I guess that's what Free For All Friday's for, isn't it? Shit talking! Everybody, come on in. Let's have all of the crap coming out. Anybody got any problems they were willing to have a conversation about? Or am I just going to have to say the same things over and over again? Simple truths about how surveying tools work. How upsetting both sides. Well, it's both sides. I don't think they're on both sides. They both seem to be against obvious, simple shit. It's getting really weird. We'll just carry on doing exactly the same thing that we always do. Carry on, carrying on. Anybody got anything? Should we go into the going over the videos that we didn't go over the other day? Let me have a look, see what we've got here. Is it working? Is everybody here?
Working what?
Yeah, I was just saying the voice. I was asking anybody if they've got anything, or is it literally just people shit talking about me all the time, or has anybody got anything about an argument that anybody's talked about? Everybody seems to have thought that we've just disregarded any arguments, and everybody's just sort of saying, well, Bev doesn't know what he's talking about.
They didn't disregard anything. For example, Blue Marble Science response in chat, it wasn't rebuttal to anything. So there is nothing to discuss until he wants to defend his position, because what he wrote is just bullshit. Nonsense about your syllogism. So, for example, from my side, I said what I had to say, and that's it. So your syllogism is correct, is true, and holds, and there is nothing more to say about that. And his rebuttal is full of fallacies so far, so no rebuttal. So we have some problem with no response.
Well, there is a bit of a response. Because I decided to listen to a bit further to a couple of videos today. Going around listening to other people. And that's why I'm saying that other people like to talk a lot of shit about me. So I think that's what we can go over today. There's about half an hour of this video. Let me get for you guys.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right, so here we go. You guys can see that. I've wrote this down because there's about half an hour of this. Now this is a video of Does Celestial Navigation Work? A live presentation that Betty, the the Blue Marble Logician, decided to do it. Now, this is an hour and a half into it. So Betty's done his presentation and we started up and we went live again. And then Blue Marble carried his thing on with and talking to Rumpus and things, right? So are you guys all right with that if we start going over this? It is Free for All Friday, and this may cause a bit of conversation. This one and another video, right? So let's know if it's working okay. Yeah.
Well, this is what QE did about 2 years ago. I don't know whether he got it from QE, because that's when there was a revelation. There was a big Oakley QE Live, whatever it was, revelation that had been promoted, trailered or something the week before, that QE was going to come up with this marvelous revelation. It was that the globe Earth, the Google Earth, is a flat Earth model.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I thought that was...
Yeah, Blue. I know. Yeah, I see you keep up to date with it. That's nice of you to keep up to date, right? So that's you talking shit about me and Nathan Oakley talking shit about me. And you know what I say, Blue? I'm much like you. It's not fucking flat. So Nathan Oakley's talking shit about me like you talk shit about me. Where does that put me, Blue? I think that puts me in the camp of real, and both you and Nathan Oakley talking shit about models. Definitely puts me separate them from Flat Earth and from Blue Marble Science. I'm not into any of this new Blue Marble Science shit. So this, anyway, listen to this is Blue Marbles from last night, unless you want to take it down, Blue.
That was the most ballsy move I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
I watched that live and was laughing my ass off. Oh, so it's zero. Let's see. The elevation is sea level in England and sea level in New York. Therefore, it's flat between those 2 points. Gotcha.
Yeah, but if you look at the elevation profile, look at that lovely horizontal baseline reference. There it is. It's all
the problem is, and Blue was the one who pointed that out. He unpinned it from the. You did the unpin thing where and then you can see the difference.
Yeah. When you go to an absolute elevation instead of clamped to the Earth is what the term.
That's right.
Google Earth uses. Then you see the curvature.
From a grifter con artist point of view, you got to kind of admire it. I mean, to actually go in public and say that with a straight face. I mean, he can't possibly actually believe this.
They do.
I was laughing that whole time. That was one of the best laughs I've had. I was just laughing my ass off, going like, "No, this guy cannot be fucking serious."
And the trouble is, when they go to that level, it's like someone saying, as I say, someone comes to you and say 1 + 1 is equal to 3, and you don't quite know where to engage with the argument. You don't quite know what to say, where to begin.
Right. So what they're doing here, right? This is paralogism acceptance party, right? They're all taking the piss out of somebody for using a horizontal baseline elevation. They should know that Blue Marble unclamped it. He did that. He did the video on it. Blue Marble unclamped all of those elevation profiles with the pesky, awkward, horizontal baselines. I mean, the nerve of these people. I mean, who've we got? We've got paid NASA shill. Obviously, he's one of the most intelligent people we know. You've got Rumpus. There's Brenda. Blue Marble Science. Let's see who else comes in. I mean, these are the top paralogism advisory. This is the council all sorting it out between themselves.
Where's the common point? Because in an argument, you try and find a common point of where, right, we'll agree on this bit, and then you lead them on to the next point. But with that, and also it's undermined. You're not used to thinking down to that level. You know, you're not used to going diving into that level of misunderstanding. And
he's talking about elevation profile with a horizontal baseline.
Yes,
it's amazing.
For Rumpus, it is unbearable. So how could you think that they are horizontal straight lines?
Who could possibly? Blue Marble's unclamped them. It shows you how to do it.
And George and I discussed on many occasions. It's sort of destabilizing.
George and Rumpus discussed this on many occasions when they had their early morning coffees together, working out how to do RBD face. Rumpus and George.
And at this morning coffee, they established that horizontal cannot be straight.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And as they established, it has to be true. That be true.
Yeah, Rumpus. I mean, Rumpus couldn't do the video about the unclamping or the bending horizontal or the drop from... No. Rumpus couldn't do that. He left that to Blue and George and McToon. It's okay, though. It's not Rumpus. Rumpus is going to do it. Rumpus is going to do his test. Rumpus is going to do the debate with SE and the presentation. And Rumpus is going to do his video. He'll get round to it. In the meantime, we'll let McToon and Blue and everybody else do all of this sort of stuff. Rumpus.
Realises you're thinking for a bit where you think, how do I tackle this argument when they're saying something? Like, you do know that the Google Earth is spherical, isn't it, when you zoom out? But of course, they then say it changes or something, I think, is their argument. And of course, Bev doesn't understand this. I mean, he was shocked when I told him that the elevation profile was based on arc, and then Blue...
Based on... See, look! Rumpus told first that the elevation profile's based on an arc. All of the elevation profiles with a horizontal baseline is based on an arc. It's Rumpus. I'll put that back again, because just in case you weren't aware and you thought it might have been Blue Marble that did that first with the arc. It might have been Blue Marble that said that the horizontal baselines were started with an arc. But oh no, it's Rumpus. He's the one in the background. He's like the puppeteer, and Blue Marble's like the puppet. But he always thinks of everything first. Listen.
Argument when they're saying something, like, you do know that the Google Earth is spherical, isn't it, when you zoom out? But of course, they then say it changes or something, I think, is their argument. And of course, Bev doesn't understand this. I mean, he was shocked when I told him that the elevation profile was based on arc, and then Blue actually had some public debates with him about this very thing, that the elevation profiles you see, that just because it's horizontal in the screen or on a piece of paper, that doesn't mean to say it's the distance along an arc, actually, matey.
Doesn't mean to say it's a distance along an arc. Why would it be? It's a horizontal.
Yeah, so he's arguing against himself, or what?
He just, like, I'm not so sure that people realise this. Right, because everything Rumpus just said seemed to say that it was an arc. But that's not actually what he said.
Yes, he said that this is not actual.
Yes, not actually based on an arc. How could it be? I'll put it back again. Just so you can recognise that it is actually Blue Marble that said it publicly. And just so you know, Rumpus doesn't actually... He must have just misspoke or something. Must have just misspoke.
told him that the elevation profile was based on arc, and then Blue actually had some public debates with him about this very thing, that the elevation profiles you see, that just because it's horizontal in the screen or on a piece of paper, that doesn't mean to say it's the distance along an arc, actually, matey.
No, it doesn't mean to say that it's a distance on an arc, because it's a horizontal. There's only Blue Marble that said that. Rumpus is a muppet. If anybody can't see that what Rumpus is doing and making you imagine that Rumpus has said it when he didn't actually say it.
I would say that this is worth clipping.
That's why we're going over it. Oh, no, wait a minute. No. This is only early into it. It's about half an hour of this. See, if you want to take it down, Blue, anytime, we're going through it. Just remember, it's Rumpus that's throwing you under the bus here. You're the one that said it, Blue. Rumpus has said it doesn't mean to say that. I don't know why you've got the idea of that.
It's a graph, yeah.
It's a graph.
Yes, a graph of elevation against distance. That doesn't mean to say the distance is horizontal.
Well, now it doesn't mean to say it's horizontal.
So this is not an arc and not horizontal.
It's not an arc and it's not horizontal. No. Slope, perhaps. Blue Marble did say slope.
Bell's argument is like this. All horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, and there is one plane of the horizon.
I've never said there's one plane of the horizon. Just that all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. I use the because that's what it is. It's the horizon. Every time you have a horizontal, it will definitely be parallel to the plane of the horizon. That's the plane of the horizon in front of you, the plane of the horizon behind you, the plane of the horizon to the left, to the right. In fact, anywhere you look, wherever you look with any horizontal, it will always be parallel to the plane of the horizon in any direction that you look. Because you can be guaranteed that even if you're looking forwards, the horizontal that you've got will be parallel to the plane of the horizon behind you and in front of you. All along, because everybody knows what it is. It's plane. But that's,
Right.
Yeah.
So I tell him, okay, so Earth is flat, right? What's the horizon? It's the water and the sky. If the water is flat somewhere, then everywhere, then Earth is flat. He says, no, have you ever heard about tides and waves? Fine with me. So where is this plane you're talking about? This
plane of the horizon.
When is it horizontal?
All horizontal.
What time of day is it horizontal? If there are tides and waves.
It's the horizontals. Just to point this out again, it's the horizontals that are parallel to the plane of the horizon. The horizontals that are parallel to plane of the horizon. Very easy to remember that.
Can't he refuse to accept the consequence of what he says?
Exactly right.
What's the consequence of what I say? That all horizontals are parallel to each other. Yeah. The terrible consequences. I mean, that is what we stated at the beginning. Chaiki. It's quite obvious why they got Chaiki out of the way, because he's lost his marbles. Chaiki, poor Chaiki.
They're going to listen to this and they're going to say, oh, look at these guys all talking about how stupid we are, and they're the stupid ones. You watch.
No, I'm not going to call anybody stupid. Don't worry, PNS. Don't worry. Words speak for themselves.
Yeah, well, that's what they did whenever it was. They reviewed, was it Blues? No, was it Toon's video recently? Oh, no, It was our discussion. That's right. It was actually our discussion last week, or last Tuesday or something. Yeah. They were going through it. Yeah.
Yes, Rumpus, we're going over it again. You say some really weird shit. So, guess what? Going over it.
Yeah, and they were just doing basically that. And Paige, and they still don't I tell you, Blue, when I'm going to get when I get round, I've got me.
He's going to get round to it.
On him. When I'm going to get SE Montreal on his other ones,
he is.
I'm going to hammer home the idea that verticals are radials because they haven't got onto that level yet. Even though I shouted at Bev about this, a year and a half ago. Do you understand that on the globe model that down is towards the centre of the Earth and therefore?
I've always said that. Fucking ridiculous. Yes. I think I can remember telling him, yeah, it's ridiculous. What that means is verticals are tilting. And everybody knows that verticals don't tilt.
Yeah, but Bev, he clearly said on the globe model.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't ascribe to that model.
Yeah,
it's not reality.
What I said. Yeah. it requires vertical to tilt on that model.
Yes, we understand that on their model, verticals are tilting, therefore they are not verticals.
Yes.
We understand that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not a matter of who doesn't understand. That's stupid shit. I mean, that's why I can say that's fucking ridiculous. Quite easily. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
For as a radial. And he did claim the next day, although he wouldn't accept it at the time. It does this again, where he just prevaricates to avoid answering the question. But then the next day he did sort of say, yes, I do understand that. And of course, I think Blue obviously believes that he does understand this intimately and he's just trying to fool everybody.
That's precisely what...
Look, right, now, this is one of the things that I have to point out, right? Rumpus is leading Blue into this. And Blue's going to say, yeah, I mean, I said it all on my own and whatever I said I meant and nobody led me to do anything. But Rumpus is inciting all of these people with this bullshit. He's just waffled on for a bit and now he's dragged Blue in. He's dragged Blue in with a conversation about the thing.
What reciprocal zenith angles show you. They diverge above the theodolites. Those lines are diverging. What does that tell you? Go back to Euclid. It
means they're not vertical, Blue. If they're diverging, they are not vertical. Because verticals don't diverge.
What does that mean? That means they're converging and intersecting on the other side. What does that make them? They have to be radials. They can't be anything other than.
They didn't understand that, though. I mean, they went through your...
Blue's saying that if you make a triangle, it has to be radials for some reason.
Presentation on this. And just the comments, they didn't... They said, what's this angle? They did not understand what you were doing. They did not understand what you were doing. Just incredible.
If I were you, I wouldn't waste my time with Yogi, though. He's not the world's brightest bear.
Yeah, but it was fucking 5 hours long, though.
We did a 5-hour stream. Brenda doesn't like it. But I think Brenda has to listen to all of it.
Holy crap, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
SE Montreal, he reminds me of Yogi Bear with his cadence, the way he speaks.
Somewhat.
Although he might be stupid, he's not quite as devious as Bev.
I'm devious now. Now, Rumpus, obviously, this is why we go over this sort of stuff. It's free-for-all Friday. Rumpus wouldn't have the balls. He hasn't got the manly balls. He's like Farmer's Boy. They're too scared to come and have a chat. They just talk shit about you. But from a distance. They'll never come over. It's strange that they're willing to do it publicly like this. Just to blatantly talk shit about people. Who cares? This is like slander, really. I think that's what you call it. Rumpus has just called me devious. For what? I don't know.
I think he's more honest about his stupidity.
He's too stupid to be devious.
Listen to who's talking. Fucking divergent vertical man.
He's not bright enough to be devious. All SE can do is just repeat the shit he's heard.
I think there are dimmer ones than him, actually. I think there are... I mean, something like, Gadget Inspector, I think has to be...
Look, Gadget as well now. Shout out Gadget. Amazing drawing. You've seen it on the Buster tracks. Gadget, you've made it. You're in their heads. How did you get there? What did you do? I want to know. It must be just because of the YouTube comments, right? Or have you been private messaging him? Let's hear.
Bottom of the barrel, so there's a couple of other ones that are even worse.
Oh, we can say that.
I think Essie's mid-range. I think he's mid-range. Bev,
Gadget can draw very nice pictures. I told him to focus on that subject, what he's good at, and forget the things he's not good at all.
That was Chaiki. Chaiki was the man that told us that the walls in Blue's house moved. His seismometer measured the movement of Blue's walls. Shout out, Chaiki. Long time no see.
Paige is worse, for instance. She doesn't.
Paige now as well. Shout out, Paige. Paige's proof. Obviously getting to Rumpus. It was Rumpus that we showed that to. It was Rumpus that showed it to us, really. They've been doing it ever since. Rumpus has gone into overdrive trying to sell his bullshit. Plumbob's going round a circle.
She seems to understand less than he does.
Paige is a Southern Hemisphere flirt, so she's like definitely at the bottom of the barrel.
That's paid NASA shill. Absolutely obsessed with these flirts. Can't stop himself from talking about it. This group of people are obsessed with another group of people. They're just obsessed with other people.
How can you be?
Where's the
how
argument?
Can you live in the Southern Hemisphere and be a flat earther? Just you go outside, look at the stars.
Yeah, look at the lights in the sky. That'll sort it.
He had the mother. Paige had the mother of Flirta.
Hey, shout out to Judy Bassett for a $15 PayPal. Thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate it very, very much.
Oh, she's paying him.
Yeah, Blue. I mean, I think this is where I think you're where you could have done with some interactive diagrams when you went after in your debate with Bev. Because the excellent video I think was excellent.
Blue in his video needed some interactive diagrams because he didn't bring anything else other than a video.
Except that for them, I think it's confusing. Had lots of numbers in it, but I mean, you wanted to provide a nice reality-based argument, and they never even mentioned it. You never got round to actually discussing the fact you were showing them reality, and it was
numbers.
Yeah, two old dudes went up a hill, right, and performed some blue marble science. Blue marble scientific method is get two theodolites and point them at each other and then go, "'Tis globe." Oh, wait a minute. Look, the verticals tilt. "'Tis globe." I mean, that's blue marble science. And if you don't think it is, then these guys will tell you it is.
It contradicting their claims. It just ended up with them being quizzing you about whether the perpendiculars at the end of a horizontal line, a tangent line, were vertical or not, and asking you 20 times how to do it. But
so that's Bev asking you. The perpendiculars of each end of a horizontal line, are they perpendicular? It's a pretty simple question. And what was Rumpus's answer? What's Blue's answer to that simple question?
Damn it, I forgot my bloody point now. Oh, yes, interactive diagrams. You see, that's why I think hopefully I will have a bit more success, because someone like Essie might make a stupid point and I'm say, okay, let's go and look at the globe model, let's draw it out, and then, oh dear, you're wrong. So there's I'm not saying it'll absolutely work on all the issues, but I think Rumpus. With Bev, a lot of the questions that he was asking you when you were trying to hold on in there.
He's spurging out. This is Rumpus. Not being able to get control of himself.
Yes, he's like shooting his foot now, but and Chaiki maybe he wants to warn him or what? I don't know.
I think so.
Wait. Rumpus. We heard it before. We would never know unless you do it.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying that it would have really helped you to have some diagrams where you could draw what he was describing, and then he just asked you the same situation, same scenario 20 times.
Rumpus thinks his drawings perform magic with them. All he has to do is do a drawing and point to it and say, "Look, 'tis globe. I've drawn a circle. Look at me plumb bobs at all angles. Look at this one pointing upwards."
And he has to perform some waving of hand or whatever, like priest or something like that, to make this spell more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's seen a circle, so, I mean, if you say 'tis globe, then 'tis globe. Yeah, if Rumpus draws it...
If you could draw it out, then he said, "There, look, this is it." And then you could just, "Look, we've done that. We've already discussed this thing. There it is there. And
there it is.
You're an idiot."
Blue.
There you go. That's exactly it. That's Rumpus's method. Draw it, circle, and go, "Look, there it is. It's a circle. What do you not understand about it?"
Had enough rough time with the video and posting this on YouTube, and you want the interactive diagram on top of that.
Yeah.
Which it's always a problem, and you can't handle it, right?
I can't handle it.
Yeah, Rumpus can't handle it.
You always mess it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you,
yes, you do. Yes, you
That's
do.
not true.
Where is it?
Hey, dissension in the ranks. Chaiki's telling Rumpus that he always messes it up. What does he mess up? Who knows? Chaiki's noticed it, though. I'd be marking Rumpus down with that one as well, Chaiki. I don't know what it is, but I think we can all agree that Chaiki has definitely just put Rumpus down. We don't know what for, but I'd agree with Chaiki. You should do it a lot more. Stand up for yourself, Chaiki. That's right.
Yes, no, this doesn't work.
You little devil, Chaiki. Yeah, that's not fair. I do not always mess it up.
Yeah, he does.
You want me to find videos?
Yes, I do not always. I get it. It does take me some time sometimes to draw it out, but but I don't know few other people actually try and do it live with a proper diagram. But I think I'm reasonably competent now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Honestly, cheeky bug.
He does always mess it up, though, doesn't he? But like Chaiki says, Rumpus is shit at doing drawings and diagrams and shit. Always messes it up. Chaiki's got videos of it, if you want to call it.
Yeah, I think I'm reasonably competent in that regard. Oh, well, we'll see anyway.
Yeah, see if I just put something in the chat there, courtesy of Larry. You sitting there, Larry? Are you available?
Yeah.
Well, come on in, Larry.
Why don't you tell us what we're looking at?
Larry Scott, this is Larry Scott, the guy with the one of the theodolites that was looking at the other theodolite. I think he's showing the method, the one that Blue Marble used in his presentation. I think this is Larry is the one that's actually got Blue Marble to say the tilt of the verticals. This is the particular method of theodolites looking at each other. Now, what you have to imagine with this is, well, you don't have to imagine it. You just have to know that this isn't a surveying method. It's not a surveying practice. You don't look at theodolites with other theodolites. That's not what occurs. That's a not surveying method. So, just in case anybody wants to know about it, we'll go with that. Here, come on, Larry.
Oh, you little devil! Your diagram there is very similar to the one that I was showing. That Blue didn't actually show last.
I don't know what that is, so I figured you would.
Oh, hello.
I asked for more information from Adam to ask where he was seeing it or where he was seeing slow loading. But I sent you something that Adam said was a major problem. and he said it's causing major
Sugar
delays.
cookie, I think.
Yeah,
Hot mic.
I've got it. Okie dokie. So this picture here is Rumpus' one. Rumpus has done this before. Like Larry's cheeky because Rumpus has got a picture like this one. Like one of Rumpus's drawings. Almost as if somebody could have just
Tuesday, whenever it
done
was.
a drawing like that.
Well, but to his question there about this diagram, yeah, that's the triangulation report from, as it's titled, from the 39th parallel done in the 1890s.
1887.
And there's two intervisible points, and they're not all that far apart. I mean,
how far?
Like 65 miles apart, and both the vertical.
Did he say not all that far apart? 65 miles. For real? I think he might have done. Now.
Nearly face to face.
But that's, hang on. But they'll say, but that's not even a 1 degree difference.
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm about to say, right? 65 miles apart. Nobody, and I literally mean nobody, measures the vertical angle over that distance. That's why I'm about to say, again, this is not a surveying procedure. Not, I repeat, measuring vertical angles over 65 miles or 13 miles, doesn't really matter. You don't do it. Not done. Nobody does it. It's not a surveying procedure. Now, some old dudes might have gone and measured angles. I mean, as you can do, anybody can do that. Does it mean anything? No. Is it a surveying practice? No. Would anybody ever be employed to do this within the field of surveying as a one-off specialist job? No. No. Just delusional old dudes imagining that they can do something that they can't. Whether they've got special license to be able to say that they can, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Angles, or zenith angles, are greater than 90. And obviously one's much lower than the other.
The zenith angles are greater than 90, says. So that would be a horizontal in between, and the vertical and the horizontal not being perpendicular. I think that's what they're saying. Isn't it? Isn't that what they're saying? Is that what you're saying, Blue? That the straight line in between them is a horizontal, and neither of the verticals is perpendicular to it. So non-perpendicular vertical horizontals. So it's interesting.
But they're both less than 90, or less than horizontal, or below horizontal, because they're greater than 90 from zenith. Again, no horizon was observed. And this is from, like I said, 1887.
No horizon was observed. Why why have they suddenly decided they have to observe a horizon? I think what they've done is they've heard a logical argument, a very simple argument that states if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, which they are, then, right, a logical statement requires a conclusion. Then all of the horizontals will be parallel to each other. It's a very simple statement. That doesn't mean that at any time you need to cite a horizon. It means that any time you establish a horizontal plane, it will always be parallel to the plane of the horizon, making it parallel to every other horizontal plane there is. Horizontal. That's what it means to normal people. Anyway.
And so when you look at historical work and recent work and current work, there's no big deal going on here. It's all the same. I mean, you look at the refraction constant of 8.4 seconds. I got 8.0. So again, and that's based on my observation.
Oh, you got eight. You got
just the pure math.
Sorry, Lau, you say you got eight something or other seconds for what measurement?
A refraction constant.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay. So,
when they say we don't know what refraction is, they say we don't know what refraction is. Oh, and it changes and varies every day, so we can't make any use of those measurements. But it doesn't change by much.
So you're talking about the K value here, are you? You're talking about the coefficient, the K value, the coefficient of refraction.
Well, the coefficient of refraction, which.
Do you reckon he's measured the coefficient of refraction when he pointed his theodolite at another theodolite? Do you reckon that's what Rumpus is trying to get at now when he's quizzing Larry about it?
They cannot measure. How? How
well,
they can measure on the field?
That's what Larry's saying. It's a good job that Rumpus is quizzing him, because he'd have probably just walked past it and, carried on. But at least this one, when Rumpus asks him, Larry is able to explain exactly what the fuck he was talking about, measuring a coefficient of refraction of 8 seconds in his 65-mile observation. It's a little bit, I mean, it is Larry. I mean, he was, well, everybody knows Larry.
It's not, which was kind of embarrassing. I was talking to Jesse about it, several years ago. I didn't really understand what it's a coefficient of. It's just something that you put in the software and all this good shit, because we're software junkies. The coefficient of refraction
says you put the coefficient of refraction in the software of the theodolite. I think that's what he's suggesting.
Yeah, so just some program which is calculating something.
But the T3 doesn't have a digital readout on it or anything. It's literally just a scope. He'll tell you that. T2 and the T3. They're old school. And then this one here, 1887. 1867, I don't know. It's a bit blurry. Who knows? But, I mean, hey. They'd have put the software in there and put the blips in to know the coefficient of refraction. Of course. Larry's telling everybody they did. Or he did. When he was talking to Jesse.
A coefficient of the central angle at the center of the Earth.
Central angle?
So if you look at the...
Well,
the central angle at the center of the Earth. That's what it was. That's what he was measuring when he looks at his theodolites to the other one. Not obsessed with anything. Rumpus is going to come in to try and correct him.
Reciprocal of the radius. It's the reciprocal of the radius divided.
The reciprocal of the radius. Does anyone want to have a guess what that is? Reciprocal? Each end of the radius. How did he do that? What's he talking about? Is he sure he knows what he's talking about, the reciprocal? I'm guessing it'll be me that doesn't understand what the reciprocal of the radius is, but it sounds like a load of horse shit.
By the reciprocal of the radius of the refraction of the curvature due to refraction over the radius of the Earth. That's what K is, the coefficient of refraction.
In case you didn't know, the reciprocal of the radius of the curvature over the radius. Of course it is. Reciprocal of the radius curvature. Silence. Of course
so
it is.
And it's
silence.
normally about a value of 0.16 or something for the standard refraction. But it can go nuts. If you've got something in other words, for the black swan scenario, it's actually a value of 1.
No, stop. The coefficient you just cited was not the coefficient of refraction used in land survey.
See, Rumpus has fucked it up again. He's useless. Larry will put him right.
Okay? The values are typically about 0.07, 0.075 under one definition, and twice that under another definition. So we're talking like 0.15. We're talking two very different things.
Must be. Okay, well, the one that's normally discussed, you might have one thing when you're surveying.
Hey.
The coefficient of refraction is that fraction of the central angle at the center of the Earth. And that is
it's measured at the center of the Earth.
As how it's calculated, and it doesn't change a lot.
Doesn't change that much.
Yeah, I think I have seen in some surveying books when you try and allow for refraction, you don't use the K value. If you look at scientific papers on the issue,
in some
they talk about
books now.
this thing called K, which is the coefficient of refraction, which is 1 over the radius of the curvature, and that times by the radius of the Earth. So it means if you get a value of 1, that means that the ray is following the curvature of the Earth perfectly. It's got the same curvature as the Earth. So that
Anybody tell us what that means?
Bending light according to curvature.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but what does the consequences of that mean?
It means that you cannot say that this is curved because we see in straight line. It means that a plane, we can see curve as a plane. That is what it means.
Well, I'm just talking about, that's not, to Rumpus, that's not what it means. It means, I'll let him tell you, he's bound to bring it up. He always does.
That's what you've got called when you get something called circulating rays. In other words, that's what the black swan situation was, where in theory, if the light went for far enough, you could see your own bottom.
There you go. See the own crack of your arse. That's literally what Rumpus thinks. That's what he's saying, the black swan. The one that, listen, not a black swan, the picture that QE used. In that picture, Rumpus has just said, if you were good enough, you could see the crack of your own arse. Technical term, that. Blue marble scientists at work.
But still, if they say that on so-called flat Earth, the sun should not set or rise, now he's killing this argument. Because if light is bending, so why we can see sun setting? Because it should work like on this so-called flat Earth. Complete mess. He's completely messing up his own arguments now.
Yeah.
With this circular bending light.
Yeah, and you can see. If you have a really good pair of binoculars, you can see the back of your head.
Yes. This was the first accusation for let's say flat earthers, that on flat Earth you should see infinitely. Therefore, you can see, for example, ice wall or whatever, or New York from London, etc.
Yeah, but not.
Do you know why
the back of your own head?
Yeah, but do you know why they think that way?
Because they have to.
Look up. No, because they look up and assume that they can see millions of miles away.
No, I think what they've done is they've developed bending light parallel to the surface. They just think that surface is a big fucking ball and parallel to that.
Because they look up at the sky and assume they can see millions of miles away.
Yes, they say in vacuum, but now we have atmosphere, and atmosphere is blocking the view. But if there was no atmosphere, we can see forever. Therefore, we could see our own bottom from other side. Yes,
it's good. It's technical. It's blue marble scientific optics with light as well. It's all encompassing. This Rumpus is blue marble science is leading the way.
Because it go around the Earth, it'd have the same radius as the Earth, and if there weren't, if there wasn't due to degradation,
would have the same radius. The light would have the same radius. Listen to him. Listen to what he's saying.
It's obvious. Light has a radius.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
The radius of light.
Of the light ray, and it wasn't anything in the way, mountains or whatever, you could, in theory, and you had sufficient magnification, you could, in theory, see your bottom.
See, he's just doubled down on it again. I didn't rewind that. That's Rumpus forgetting that he's just already said something fucking ridiculous and doubling down on it to push the paralogism to everybody else. Everybody else has to go along with what Rumpus says. There'll be a special pleading circumstance, for you be able to use this, but Rumpus can use it under the best circumstances, like this, just flippantly.
So a K value of equal to 1 gives you what's called circulating rays. But yes, I think I may have seen something in surveying literature which is a multiplier, might be different. But normally in the scientific literature, when they're talking about refraction, the K is normally 1 would give you what's called a circulating ray, i.e. the same radius as the Earth. But we're obviously working two different things. That's what you...
But by the way, Clary, if we do calculation for Bev's famous thanks Bev picture, we also get 43.6 arc seconds.
Yeah,
if he does calculations from a picture he's took from a video on the internet, with no measurements on it at all, then he can come up with a number. Jikey.
Around 43.
43.
Yeah, it's not
nearly
hard.
42.
It's not hard, and it's highly replicable, and it doesn't vary grotesquely under what they call standard refraction is standard conditions. And the standard conditions is, not the dead of winter, not your hottest frickin' day you can find, and not close to the water, light the light line of sight, not skimming terrain. You get very consistent results. Yeah, it could vary, a second or two here or there, but not going from, completely batshit and unusable unless you get really close to water. And look at the black swan photos. All the ones they be bringing up, either at night, dawn, or sunset, when the sun is low or not there, and that's when refraction is highest, not least.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a classic paper by some German surveyors showing the refraction over the duration of the day using reciprocal zenith measurements, and then because they know the radius of the Earth, you can then work out what the refraction is. And they show that the refraction goes nuts at about just after sunset, and it gets to this.
Did you hear that? Because they know what the radius of the Earth is, they can work out the refraction.
Yeah, so this is I would say that this is affirming the consequent fallacy, because they are going backward. They think that if they know consequent, it means they can work on the cause. But it doesn't work that way. So this is just begging the question.
Engineering it, aren't they?
Yes. because we know the radius, therefore we can calculate
how much bending of
yes,
light
how
there
much
is.
light is bending. So this is backward.
Yeah.
Backward.
Yeah. What he means is because we know that level is curved like a circle, therefore we can work out how much something parallel to it must be curving.
Yes, yes.
Very clever. Very clever.
The value I was talking about, +1, gives you a circulating ray. That's the radius of the Earth. In other words, a black swan type thing. And they got up to +16. And George, when he did his observations, he got up to a value of something like something similar, +3 or whatever.
Yeah. So, So in an observation of the shape of the Earth to determine elevations of distant points, yes, these things are all well known and well.
You don't measure elevations over distance. It's not done. Surveyors do not do that. There may be one case for Everest that somebody may have attempted to try and do it, but they have adjusted it since. Maybe because they might not have got it right and there was something that they changed. You'll have to look into it, but it's not a surveying practice.
Well studied and applied. And in this case here, the zenith are definitely diverging, and refraction makes them a little more apparent. It increases the effective apparent radius to about 4,700 miles instead of 3,960. So yeah, this is well.
The effective apparent radius.
Well known. I was this example here was because of between Bev and Brian's illogic is all the fraud and fabrication, reverse engineering. Well, this is a document by the highest of science.
Who said that? It's not me. Put my name in there.
Organizations, Coast and Geodetic Survey of the United States, when they published the measured values for the world in the introduction, they said this triangulation across the continent isn't for internal use. This is published to the science community.
And so when
the triangulation was published to the science community, not for general use. They've been keeping it behind, keeping it secret.
Well, they warned surveyors, don't use that. Don't use that. Only for pseudoscience.
For the science, yeah. It's just for science, not for geometry or anything.
Didn't they do the same thing for India too, Larry?
India?
The UK when they're East India.
The UK. We know how triangles are. The thing is, Larry that's talking there, Larry told my lad that triangles have more than 180 degrees, which is impossible. And it invalidates any sort of triangulation methods that anybody's ever done. So, well done, Larry. You seem to be contradicting yourself here. Talking about triangulation, and people will be imagining that triangles are like got 180 degrees like triangles have. And when they do triangulation, they do it like this. But it seems as though Larry's misleading people again. It's really strange.
The company did the triangulation of the great arcs of triangulation across all of India. Yeah, that's a no-holds-barred piece of science work.
This is what has amazed me more somewhat, that people like Bev and Paper try to maintain that.
There you go. Bev and Paper. Paper, you've made it as well.
I maintain something.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
curious
I think we're
what
doing quite well. So far in this, we've got Rumpus and these guys, Blue Marble, talking about... Rob, you haven't been mentioned. Yeah, you'll have to try harder.
Yeah, I've been here a long time.
I know. I don't know what you're doing. Even Gadget and Page are getting
I had some of
mentioned.
the best. I had some of the best claims, and none of these motherfuckers even bring up my name.
I know. Fancy that. Next time, guys, can you at least mention Rob Keane? He's been here a while. He's shouting everybody else out and forgetting about Rob. Come on, guys. Fair's fair.
What you and Jesse did was just a one-off. Nobody's ever done this before.
Yeah, I'd say it again, Blue. It's not done. It's not often that two old blokes go up at mountains and point theodolites at each other. It may be a blue marble scientific method for determining the tilt of a vertical, but it's not actual surveying practice. It's not ever done in surveying to work out elevation.
Well, Jesus God, fellas, here's stuff done back in the 1800s where they were doing reciprocal zenith angle measurements. No. It's a normal thing to do in geodetic surveying.
It's not. It's not, Blue. You've been fooled into thinking that from talking to people that think triangles have more than 180 degrees. It's unfortunate, right, that these people aren't here to do it themselves, but they've left it for blue marble science. It's okay.
Bev does this a lot, doesn't he? He'll say that when you've said something, or it's a dramatic new development, oh my God, it's groundbreaking. When I've said a number of things, said, oh my God, this is groundbreaking. And my wrecked observation, Bedford levels. Yes. He keeps on saying, oh my goodness, this is a brand new thing. Well, I'm not.
Yes, in Rumpus, he's going to measure the drop of the water level in the canal, about 17 feet from the horizontal. That's Rumpus's claim. I'd say that's amazing. Nobody's ever done that before. Nobody's even attempted to go for the full nutsack drop. No, go for the big lad. They've never done that. They've always gone for the hump. Half of it. Rumpus has gone full quadratic, the full nutsack.
Not really. I don't know whether Bev is just trying to dramatize and sensationalize the interaction he's having with someone else, as though he's trying to make this some sort of new and novel and groundbreaking.
No, Rumpus, it is. It's nearly as groundbreaking as Ranty going up Winter Hill with his auto level. He got frightened. He couldn't do it. Chickened out. Too historic. They said they'd be putting statues up there of him with his auto level, you know. Looking at the top of Winter Hill.
For his ego or something, but he doesn't seem to recognise all this work that's been done hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, well, he said it before. I heard him on one of his shows. He said it's something was invented by Globers to argue against. Like it's a recent thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Just recently they start arguing it.
No,
yeah, just like argument. Everything is NASA's big lie. This shit predates NASA like by so many leaps and bounds. No, NASA never came up in the conversation.
Jesse Kozlowski and Larry Scott, who mentioned NASA. Don't be trying to get NASA into it. Bring NASA into it. I mean, if you need NASA on your side, Larry, get them to team up with Blue Marble Science. See whether they'll sign the Blue Marble Science document to say that they're on board fully with the scientific methods of Blue Marble Science.
Yeah, they were measuring the reciprocal zenith angles a century before NASA ever came around.
No, they weren't.
They were doing these measurements back in the mid-1800s.
Yeah, this is before then. I mean, 1760 France, the Academy of Sciences.
Did you hear the little nervous cough there from Larry? I don't know whether he might have just been clearing his throat. Sounded a little bit awkward, though.
Paris. It was they triangulated, across the
Meridian
all
arcs.
of Europe.
Yeah. The Meridian Arc of Paris, I think they did that too.
Yeah, that's the one. And then they sent a team to Ecuador. They sent a team up to Lapland, and then they contracted with Mason and Dixon to redo the Maryland-Delaware border to a higher specification because it's a 150-mile portion of meridian. And they remeasured it under contract to the Academy of Sciences.
150 miles, they measured it.
Blue, I've got this diagram that I was trying to show last whenever it was, and you didn't quite capture it, which is actually rather similar to the diagram that Larry was showing here. I don't know whether you were showing it earlier, that he was showing about horizontal and constant elevation.
Oh, here we go.
If I could could you show it?
Yeah, I can if you stick it in the live chat.
I'm streaming.
Oh, you're streaming. I'm sorry.
Oh. Oh, dear.
In that case.
Here we go.
For salon, beautiful styles. Schwarzkopf styling.
Blue Marble's got plenty of adverts. Look at this.
Right, so the thing I was trying to say last time, and it's very similar to the diagram that Larry, posted just a few minutes ago, which is about this. It's something which similar I've shown before, but it's in a bit more graphic detail here, and this is the thing that basically...
See, this is Rumpus's presentation. He's been working on this. He's been working on this for years. This is Rumpus's great work.
This great circle he's making more and more bigger and bigger radius here. So for bigger and bigger circle.
Yeah. Yeah, he's showing everybody the tilt. I think this is Page's proof and extension of. So instead of pointing out the inconsistencies, what Rumpus has done, he's doubled down and made 2 diagrams and done a load of writing. This is Rumpus's idea that he can become like some sort of an Einstein. It's going to be great when Rumpus eventually does this. Rumpus is going to be the globe master. The Rumpus is going to go down in history. There's going to be Robotham, Wallace, and the Rumpus. They're going to be all linked together. That Rumpus has got a vast amount of all sorts of knowledge that to give for the globe. Introductory courses, it's going to do everything, Rumpus.
It was also related to the presentation you gave to Bev and his quizzing of you. And this is the sort of diagram that I would hope to present to him.
There you go.
And I think it's quite good, despite Mike Chike slagging me off. So here we have at the top. Let's deal with this one first. Let's just simply say this is the scenario that Bev likes to describe. Here we got, or he can almost cope with this part of it, which is.
It's got a fucking slope to start off with. That's a level. How delusional is this man? To get you to believe that that is level. He's playing tricks. Playing mind tricks. And I mean, if you want to believe that that's level or anything like that, I mean, that's up to you. But I'd say you're going to get fooled by Rumpus.
He didn't mention that this is level at a point only. So this...
It's got a line on it. That
yeah,
line.
This is too long.
Horizontal. He says horizontal for A.
This line should contain only 1 point. So it is too big. So this drawing is false.
There you go. Horizontal for A.
So here we have zoomed in part of the Earth, and here we have...
See this plumb bob? Tilting. That's a plumb bob. Tilting plumb bob. First off, opening move. Sloping horizontals and tilting verticals. For starters.
A plumb bob. And as we all know, if we're at point A here, that the horizontal for A is going to be perpendicular to this vertical, which is as indicated.
See, that's a tactic that people use, as we all know. As we all know, that's fucking ridiculous. Plumb bobs don't tilt. And horizontals don't slope.
by this plumb bow I've drawn here. And therefore I've drawn that's horizontal for A. So there's point A, point A, and then we have this horizontal, which is a plane.
It's not horizontal.
So all the green things in this diagram are planes, and all horizontals are lines. Lines. You can only have vertical lines. You can't have vertical planes.
Hear that? Anybody?
But he said just before that we have plane, horizontal plane. And now he's saying that we cannot have that.
I can't have a vertical plane.
Hang on, Bev. That's what you say, though.
I know.
So
I
you guys
don't
agree?
say you can't have a vertical plane. I say you definitely can have a vertical plane. I do believe that me and Mike were discussing this sort of stuff quite a bit ago. And we came... Well, no, it was ages ago, months ago.
Horizontal. Yeah, but the horizontal has length and breadth, and the vertical only has elevation.
Length. Yeah.
Yeah, so that can't be a plane if it's only got one
No,
dimension.
you can have a vertical plane, right? Like a
Well,
square,
yeah, 'cause you can have,
right? Yeah.
I agree.
Right, yes. Well, that is possible in reality, right? But what Rumpus is saying, that on his model, because of the consequences that he's about to talk about, you cannot have that vertical plane. It only goes to a vertical line. That's the only way this works on the globe, the blue marble science model. They're not allowed to have a vertical plane. But in reality, oh yeah, you can have a vertical plane. It's definitely possible. Well, in my and our shared reality, you can. Other people think differently.
Yeah, wouldn't you call that a wall?
Oh yeah, a wall's like a vertical plane.
Right?
Yeah. And listen to this again, because this is something for everybody to hear. What Rumpus is saying, because we pointed this out to them, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of this. That geometrically, there's no such thing as a vertical plane on the globe model. You have to separate the globe model from reality. Because in reality, obviously, vertical planes exist.
Here, that the horizontal for A is going to be perpendicular to this vertical, which is as indicated by this plumb bow I've drawn here, and therefore I've drawn that's horizontal for A. So there's point A, point A, and then we have this horizontal, which is a plane. So all the green things in this diagram are planes, and all horizontals are lines. Lines. You can only have vertical lines. You can't have vertical planes. Verticals only exist as lines, and horizontals are always planes.
There you go. From the words of Rumpus, horizontals are always planes. And verticals are perpendicular.
And so if you were to put a level, spirit level at point A, it would show you the perpendicular to A, which would also be a tangent as well. That's incidental, but it's worth mentioning. And
why?
Tangent to other circle.
Tangent to what?
To other circle. It's on the drawing.
Yeah, but you can, well, yeah, the red ones that he's put in the air.
Yes, yes.
The air
yes.
circles. Air tangents.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we could call them non-tangents, really, couldn't we? Because they're not tangents.
Yes, not tangents to a sphere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's handy that. The not tangents. Yeah, we could call them that if you wanted to, Rumpus.
And so this green line, which I've written horizontal for A, also has other points on it I've drawn on it of B, C, D, and E.
Oh,
and if we then were to draw perpendiculars to them, which I've put as P here, PB, PC, BD, and PE, these are the perpendiculars to these points A that I've arbitrarily picked on along this horizontal
perpendiculars to a
for
horizontal.
A. So this is green line here. This is all horizontal, right? All the points, and this is something that I think I was quizzing.
So that's all horizontal because it's a horizontal line. All of it. No, not a horizontal line. Sorry, a plane. All of the plane is horizontal, and he's drawn some perpendiculars to it, and everybody knows that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. I mean, everybody knows that.
PhD Tony, we were having a slight debate, weren't we? I was saying I disagree with him slightly. That all these points here along this green line are horizontal to A.
There you go. Horizontal.
Because that's on the plane, and all these points are on that horizontal. And what's more, where I've chosen at these arbitrary points, though, you can see that we've changed elevation. I've got previous diagrams to this to explain why these levels are changing. But as you can see, points B, C, D, and E, they are... I've then drawn in these pink dotted lines. These are points of equal elevation or level. They are level. In other words, if something's of equal elevation, it's level.
So just to make it clear, the sloping horizontal that Rumpus has, that's sloping downwards, is actually gaining in elevation. I mean, it makes complete sense that sloping horizontals, especially if they're sloping downwards, that they gain elevation.
Yes, you are going downward and upward at the same
time. Yeah, contradictory science. Blue marble wouldn't be able to be around if it wasn't for contradictions. It's what powers this model. It's what powers the science behind the model. Contradictions.
So we've got, I've called it L, E, L, D, L, C, and L, B. So all the dotted line there represents a level. And they're all of the equal elevation. That means we'll go with a moment from the same distance from the centre of the Earth. And they're basically just concentric circles around the centre of the Earth.
Concentric circles, did he say? Okay. Blue marble science. Off you go. It's a good job they've got Rumpus for surveying department now as well.
There are some other circles that they are not concentric. I don't know.
I think what Rumpus is doing here is, you know, he keeps saying, "Have you seen surveying manuals?" I think he's going to do his own surveying the globe with Rumpus, tilting verticals and sloping horizontals. It's going to be called.
But it's not quite because I haven't allowed for the bulge. But it'll do for the moment.
For the bulge.
So on this diagram, we've got a horizontal, we've got a single vertical, and we've got some levels of equal elevation, and then we've got these little perpendiculars at various points that I've chosen a uniform stepping, and we've got these perpendiculars. So the thing that Bev doesn't, the two lines of attack he then was saying, and he was using it against you in your presentation.
He might say, that's a sloping line, it's not horizontal, for starters. And I think that's what I'd say. I'd say, what the fuck are you doing? You've got a tilting plumb bob. It's ridiculous.
Was, well, okay, this PE, well, that's obviously perpendicular to vertical for A, because the vertical for A here, obviously this line is perpendicular to the vertical for A, so obviously this perpendicular is then parallel to the vertical for A. So then we've got...
There you go. Parallel. Same horizontal plane, perpendicular to it. Parallel.
These lines here are perpendicular to the horizontal for A.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is then, are they vertical? And of course they're not.
Look. Page's proof.
So verticals which are parallel to the first vertical, they are parallel, but they are not vertical.
Yeah, something like that. As he's drawn here. I mean, look at these plumb bobs. Not just one tilting plumb bob, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tilting plumb bobs. Very festive, isn't it? 5 tilting plumb bobs.
For a start, they're changing in elevation. So I may have to simplify this.
So for a start, they're changing in elevation. Not only are they tilting, but you've got a horizontal that changes in elevation from one end to the other, which sort of implies a slope. Right? So sloping horizontals with changes in elevation.
It means that this is not really horizontal.
It's a hard sell, isn't it? That Rumpus is managing to go with this. I mean, think about how ridiculous that is, that you've got to sell a horizontal with a differing elevation, i.e. higher or lower on each end. That's a horizontal like that. I mean, obviously Rumpus. He's telling the Blue Marble scientific community. He's doing a presentation there now. You'd think one of them might say it's a bit of a hard sell, that Rumpus, you know. But the horizontals with changing elevations. Are you sure? I mean, from never actually holding an auto level or looking through one, setting it up. But Rumpus is, I mean, he's going to go to Bedford level and measure the 17-foot drop of the canal from one end to the other. No locks. None.
Diagrams. I saw someone in the chat was moaning about my diagrams being too complicated. I think this one's got possibly a bit too busy in it. George would probably complain about this as being a bit too. I might reduce the number of points. But anyway,
George might complain about it, Rumpus. I'd say, when you have your missing your coffee mornings. God bless his soul, George. Helping Rumpus out with it. I don't think he'd say messy. I think George might say, what the fuck are you doing with the sloping horizontal, Rumpus? I mean, that looks a bit ridiculous. But, I mean, I might be wrong.
Anyway, so we've got these. I'm now, if I were to put a level on these various points, you would see that then you would get these other verticals. The vertical for these points B, C, D, and E, they're the same points as they were up here, and I've preserved the perpendiculars here. Those blue dotted lines are the perpendiculars at point E, D, C, and B, marked P, B, B, C, B, D, E. But if you put the level there, they are not aligned with the horizontal for A. So the green line horizontal for A is still there. But if you were to put a level there, they obviously are going to be perpendicular to their own personal local vertical. Now, and I've drawn those in as the
personal local vertical was what Rumpus just used there.
Yeah, personal. And by the way, I think that Blue Marble Science in rebuttal, this written rebuttal, he said, as I remember, that this is horizontal, which is not equal elevation. Yes. Okay, so, but level is equal elevation. That was Blue Marble Science rebuttal, I think. But level is equal elevation and horizontal is not equal elevation.
Yeah.
So I don't know what does it mean now.
I don't know. Like it's all gone a little bit weird, hasn't it? I'm not too sure. I mean, this looks to me like it's part of. It's RBD face, really. I think Rumpus is misrepresenting RBD face here from George. George's final work. God bless his soul. We'll go over it next week, I think.
E vertical VD, VAB, all pointing to the centre of the Earth, because as any line that passes through the centre of the Earth,
like
it forms a vertical.
Face.
This is something else that Bev couldn't cope with when I mentioned it when he was commenting on in our review. So any line that passes through the centre of the Earth is a vertical.
There you go. Any line which passes through the centre is a vertical. I mean, that's a new definition. I'm guessing that's a Blue Marble Science definition for vertical. I've never seen it anywhere else mentioned. But hey, Rumpus looks like he's writing the manual for everybody to follow. This is what everybody will have to go along with Rumpus. Rumpus is writing it. So that's what Rumpus says. That's what Rumpus says. It goes.
Line which is going through the center is or radius or diameter only. So
yeah.
So basically diameter.
Yeah, I think he's renaming the radius or the diameter as a vertical.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Blue marble science. Has to be. Has to be. There's no other way.
This presentation might be a part of dissertation of Rumpus, maybe in the future. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, no, this is Rumpus's manual for introduction to the globe. We're just making sure that everybody is aware. Like Rumpus said, he's been telling us, and he thinks we don't understand that they have to say ridiculous shit. I mean, obviously, Rumpus is drawing ridiculous shit. And he has to say it, and we know that. But he's just letting everybody else know. Perhaps the people that are walking around unaware that they have to have tilting verticals, sloping horizontals. It's a necessary consequence of to the center verticals. Well, sorry. For changing a radius to a vertical, this is a consequence of the radius, the diameter, you know. It's a good job they've got Rumpus on their team.
And so the vertical for this level at E points, he's got to point to the centre of the Earth. It's a radial.
It's got to.
Plumb bob, if I were to hang a plumb bob at E, it would point to the centre of the Earth. It'd follow this line, VE, vertical for E. That's where down is. And up is obviously the opposite of down. And there is the perpendicular, E. So, although this point, E, is on the horizontal for A is not on the horizontal for E. Because E...
Right, I'll just go back over that again. Right? I'm not going to say I've taken a bow or anything. But listen to this.
There is the perpendicular, E. So, although this point, E, is on the horizontal for A is not on the horizontal for E. Because...
Okay? I hope you got that. Everybody. The horizontal that goes from A to E. E is on that horizontal from A to E. But A isn't on the horizontal from E to A. Same straight line. It's only horizontal in one direction.
Yes, because different level is on this end of this line is different level. So he has to create another horizontal. So this first cannot be anymore. This is a line which is losing horizontally when it is going
in the opposite direction. So in the opposite direction, when you go back again, it's not horizontal, which is fantastic. And I'm pretty sure it's a good job Rumpus is doing this. You know, letting people know this, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people aren't aware of this. So it's dead easy to show people, right? You get a horizontal at A.
E's horizontal is this green line, HE.
You get a horizontal from A, and you establish it, and you go to B.
Yes, and it should be not horizontal anymore at B. Why at E? At B, it is also not horizontal anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when you go back again, it's not horizontal. So from B to A, although A to B is horizontal, B to A, the same straight line, isn't. It's fantastic.
Yes, new logic.
Yeah, this is globe logic. Blue marble logic. Blue marble science, sorry. Not logic. Science, this is. This is how we perform blue marble science. Scientific methods of the blue marble. A to B, horizontal. B to A, not horizontal. Same line, just different horizontals.
Because again, the green lines are the local horizontals, so this is the horizontal for point E.
I have one notation for that.
Go on.
One more. It violates this axiom: if A equals B, and B equals C, etc. Because if you say that A equals B, it means that B equals A. You can inverse that equality, but here you cannot.
No.
So this is law of identity violated, because if A equals B, it means that B equals A. But
yeah,
it doesn't
you
work in Rumpus.
If AB equals horizontal, then BA cannot equal horizontal. I mean, it's...
Yes, this is just so ridiculous. Yes. Nonsense. Complete nonsense.
Well, I mean, it's not nonsense. It's science. It's blue marble science. You can't just disregard. This is Rumpus. He's been working hard on this. Let me look at his drawings. So it's good to know that we can now go forward and let people know that a horizontal is only a horizontal in one direction. When you go back again, it's not. It's sort of like, I think we have termed the phrase infinite drop. Shown by the Aporia canal that we did. I'll take anybody through that if they want to. But it's basically this, what Rumpus is talking about. Rumpus is doing Aporia canal, and he's literally telling the globe faithful, the blue marble scientists in the blue marble science group, as they're doing it, this is Rumpus doing blue marble science, handing on paralogisms. I'll do it again, just so you know what we're talking about. Oh, there you go. Listen.
The plumb bob, if I were to hang a plumb bob at E, it would point to the centre of the Earth. It'd follow this line VE, vertical for E. That's where down is, and up is obviously the opposite of down. And there is the perpendicular E. So, although this point E is on the horizontal for A is not on the horizontal for E, because E's horizontal is this green line, HE, because again the green lines are the local horizontals, so this is the horizontal for point E. So point E, this little green line, which is a tangent to the level, so it's on this level LE, and the horizontal at point E is HE, but the point A is not on this line HE. Line HE, if I were to extend it, would be up here. Perhaps not to do that, actually. That's possibly something like to make the point, actually.
You do that, Rumpus.
You could improve that slightly.
Equipotential angle of adjustment.
So they then say, they regard it as a contradiction. They're saying, hold on, you've got something at point E, it's on the horizontal for A, but it's got a different horizontal and vertical. So therefore they claim it's a contradiction. Yes, because all we've got here is the horizontal.
Do you want to hear that again?
Yes, he admitted. Yes, we have contradiction. Yes, this is science with contradictions. Yes,
blue marble science. It's amazing to me that they can get away with doing this. Rumpus is a well-practiced thing, and I don't know if people have noticed it. What Rumpus actually does. Please, everybody, listen to Rumpus and listen to what he says.
Line HE, if I were to extend it, would be up here. Perhaps not to do that, actually. That's possibly something like to make the point, actually. Yeah. You could improve that slightly. So so they then say, they regard it as a contradiction. They're saying, hold on, you've got something at point E, it's on the horizontal for A, but it's got a different horizontal and vertical. So therefore they claim it's a contradiction. Yes, because all we've got...
We claim it's a contradiction, and yes.
He admitted that we are right.
Yeah.
We are right, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, diletheists take contradictions differently, don't they? Like everybody, if you're not aware, a contradiction within blue marble science is a good thing. That's where the scientific theories come from. The blue marble scientific theories are born from contradictions.
You must have them, as a matter of fact.
You need them.
They must exist.
They can't progress the science if they don't come across contradictions that they have to accept.
They have to have them. The only solution is to start to like them.
Yeah, yeah. You
if
draw
you
them.
have to have.
That's what this is. It's a drawing for Rumpus to show all of the people on the blue marble, right? To let them know the contradictions that they have to hold. He's even telling you, yes, it's a contradiction. You have to have it. It's a must-do situation. The model dictates this must happen. Actually, this angle here between the horizontal and the horizontal is called the equipotential angle of adjustment. Everybody knows this. It's the angle between a horizontal and a horizontal. The angle between two horizontals at the intersection of the intersection point of those two horizontals. Ask a surveyor. They'll tell you. Has to be like this.
What here is the horizontal phase of plane. It's on, and there are an infinite number of points. There are lots of. I'm going to show a different diagram for that. But just because point E is on the horizontal phase, that does not mean that point A is on the horizontal phase. The local horizontal and vertical.
Just because E is on the horizontal for AE, doesn't mean that A is going to be on the horizontal for AEA. In blue marble science, it doesn't.
Yes,
Can't
and
be.
he admitted that this counts only for point A. It means that there is no line here, because if you move this point from A to not A, the closest another point on this line, you have new horizontal. And therefore, you cannot say that this is a line. This is only a point. At different point, it is always a different horizontal, and so on. So they have no line. There is no horizontal line, in fact.
Well, Rumpus has drawn it. But I mean, it's a contradiction, right?
Yeah, but
he's drawn it, but it's not actually there because AE is different than EA for some reason.
Yes, so at any point you can make this point B closer, the next point to A, and that would be different. So he's screwed, I think, completely.
Is orientated as I've drawn here, and also, of course, it's got a different elevation, LE.
It's got a different elevation as well.
So anyway, that's what the Jesus Christ.
Oh, I think that's the end of Rumpus's presentation.
He always had problems with connection.
Yeah.
or his computer was hanging. Even his computer cannot compute that marble science.
So, I thought that was brilliant, really. But so just to recap, a line, if you make it horizontal at A and go to B with a line that's horizontal, you would call it a horizontal line. Then, if you were to go from B horizontally back to A, Rumpus thinks that you wouldn't use the same line for some reason. Now, Rumpus is telling the Globe team what has to happen. This is a requirement for this.
But it means the consequence of that is that this two-peg test is impossible on the globe. Because if you are going and measure backward to your previous measurement on measuring rod, this is impossible. Because if you are
like you're closing your loop, you mean?
Yeah, because if you are measuring from let's say left to right, measuring rod, this is horizontal. But if you are changing position and you are measuring backward, you cannot measure that because this is not horizontal.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious Rumpus hasn't got a clue about surveying. But he's saying, like, if you do a back sight to a foresight, right, and go from A to B with the point in the middle, yeah, you can't go back again. You can't close your loop to have a check to make sure that you are accurate. Because if you were to go from A to B and then back to A, Rumpus says you won't end up at the same place. You'd go on a longer elevation change. Which, I mean, okay, I don't want to go too much into it at the minute. Because I know the way that this works. And we're going to have... Rumpus is going to have to justify this to the rest of the team. People like Larry Scott is going to have to back Rumpus up with this. Blue Marble said it live on in a debate. Now, I'm thinking people like Rumpus have pushed Blue Marble into doing that. But good luck. When a horizontal line can only be horizontal in one direction. That's how ridiculous they are now. But at least they're telling people. We've known this, well, a few years ago. And we've just been telling people the same thing. And look at the state they're in. They're all, when I say all, I do mean all, are going mad. So thank you very much, Blue Marble Science, for not taking your video down as we were going over it. I'm pretty sure, although we haven't got many viewers, this is massive news for people. This allows people to go out and inform people of Blue Marble Science awareness, I think. I think we can all go out and help Rumpus to let everybody know exactly what happens with a horizontal in reality. So thank you very much, Rumpus. What we got there? Right now. Oh, everybody's got adverts. Okay, now, this one. This just to show everybody what's going on. We like to stick to very, very simple geometry, logical statements here. None of us have got a boat. None of us go to sea. Well, Makia's got a boat. He doesn't use a sextant. They're just not used. But this is a debate channel. Well, it's a debate channel. This is Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate crew. Now I only got told about the end of this thing today. I'm not really too keen on drama. but I know that this is coming. So what we've got is... What?
That sounded like the name of a band.
You've watched it, have you?
No, but Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth Crew sounds like the name of a band.
Yeah. Flat Earth Debate Crew. So I don't know what they've been talking about, and this I don't really want to go back a bit earlier. This particularly for me, this was enough. You ready for this one? So we've just gone over there, pointing out that Rumpus seems to have a bit of a problem with us, and us saying, well, just the basic geometry stuff that we do say. And because of that, the consequences of Rumpus and Blue Marble have literally said that basically horizontals don't exist anymore. They can't do. It's impossible. Tilting plumb bobs. Sloping non-horizontals, because we have to do away with them. So, listen to this.
I would like to point out right now that the only reason that Anthony's arguing this is because this is the end of the debate. At this point, it's over. Everything that Ruhiv's getting ready to say is based on that. So Anthony's trying to give him a fair shot.
I'm not arguing. I'm only asking because I'm not sure.
Sleeping Warrior's back.
I'm not. I'm genuinely not.
You're making up words. You're arguing.
I'm not arguing. I'm asking, how do we contrast it with the reification fallacy to prove that it's not reification?
We're not reifying anything. We're doing. Let me just expand. We're doing celestial navigation in that model, okay? And the reason you can draw an inference with regards to the nature of the surface is the nature of the surface is what you're going to do these geometric calculations on your GPs and to get your fix. Now, the nature of the baseline in the geometry has to be relevant to the nature of the surface of which you're going to do the navigation. It's not to reify it into it being the surface, but it's to recognize the geometric equivalence of the baseline and the surface. If you don't recognize that, then you've got further things to do, bend your R values and all sorts of stuff if you're going to navigate on a curved surface, which is not equivalent to the baseline.
Okay, so just to point out that what we've been doing since we came here, since day one, was to establish the baseline where everybody could agree on to start off with. Now, as you've seen, Rumpus and the Blue Marble scientific community are really upset with us for going along with those basic geometric concepts, for sticking to them. Rumpus is really upset with us for doing that. And it seems to be that what they're talking about here in Nathan Oakley's, the Flat Earth Debate crew, they're talking about that very baseline. Okay, so we seem to have a common understanding.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking because I think that when the way Bev words it, he makes it sound like the horizontal line is the shape of the Earth, but he won't.
Did you hear that?
No, I hear that.
Yeah,
but
lines aren't shapes.
He is suggesting that when you say that level is horizontal, it means that you think that the Earth is flat.
The Earth is horizontal. Like, yeah, literally. I don't know how many times I've ever said that, but if I've ever given anybody the mistaken impression that when I say level is horizontal, I'm saying the Earth is horizontal, that's ridiculous. I've never said that, Sleeping Warrior. And I hope it may just be you. You may just have heard it wrong. You may not have been sat in this fucking server for a year. And now you're going to say that you're misrepresenting whatever I've said. Nobody's ever heard me say that, Sleeping Warrior, you lying shit. And it sounds like he's trying to incite something here. He's trying to say that me, Bev, have said something about the Earth. I've always said level being horizontal has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. Other than you can use it to measure elevation changes. That's
you
it.
also say that Earth is dirt, not the accumulation of all the dirt and water mixed together to form some sort of sphere. You never say anything like that. That's ridiculous.
Sleeping Warrior seems like he's shit staring again. I used to say Sleeping Warrior's Flat Earth Society, and I'm pretty sure of it now. I haven't got a clue what the fuck he's talking about, and if he ever wants to come and talk, he can. Rather than talking shit about what I say, misrepresenting it, he can come and talk to us. Very simple. I'll put him right. I've never said that, Sleeping Warrior.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking. Because I think that when the way Bev words it, he makes it sound like the horizontal line is the shape of the Earth.
No, he doesn't.
But he won't call himself a flat earther.
I'm not a flat
which then
earther.
confuses what does he mean when he says the horizontal line. Because if the horizontal line is a calculation in geometry, then that...
The horizontal line is not a calculation in geometry, Sleeping Warrior. It's the thing that you establish in order to make measurements from. Like I've always said. It looks like we might have to go down and break this a little bit more simple.
That would be reification to apply that as the shape of the Earth. But if it's not, and it goes further than that, like you're saying, then it needs to be better explained by Bev. Because he makes it sound like...
He needs to be better explained by Bev. What's up with him, these people?
Yes, he. This is just sophistry. He said that he thinks that you said something. He didn't say that you said. He said that I think that he meant you, Bev, meant something when you said something. So he is talking about what he is thinking about what you said. So this is kind of sophistry, yes. And he thinks that you should explain better because he thinks that you think that the Earth is flat because you said something. And if not, he demands from you explanation. So this is what he said in this sophisticated manner, let's say.
Yeah. Well, in case it needs describing a little bit better, because just for Sleeping Warrior, right? We can establish a horizontal plane. There are tools that do that. And when they measure and they establish a horizontal plane, it's always of an even altitude. That means it's above the ground. So there's no way that horizontal that you establish has anything to do with the ground that's underneath it. Nothing at all. It's a horizontal line in a position. So if that hasn't clarified it enough, right? And you being able to establish a horizontal in reality also does not make the Earth flat. In case anybody seems to think that when I say there are tools that establish horizontals, if they misunderstand that to mean the Earth is flat, please don't. It's got nothing to do with the shape of the Earth at all. Only people that are obsessed with the shape of the Earth. I don't give a shit myself. I never have. Don't care. And what I do care about is sophists that are lying about things to incite people. Because this is one of the things that happens. Like Rumpus going over to Blue Marble to incite the Blue Marble scientists. What Sleeping Warrior is doing here is something that Sleeping Warrior has done all the time. And he incites people into arguments, but not arguments. This new argument where the people get angry. People get angry over certain things. Now, Sleeping Warrior, as you've just heard, he's saying that I need to explain something. And I'm pretty sure that I've explained it a lot. Many times, about as simply as I can. But I mean, if this is a chance for us to do it again, we can do it. And if anybody wants to come from the Flat Earth debate crew, want to come over here and establish what the fuck Sleeping Warrior was talking about, they're willing to. Come over. It's 15 minutes of this left. Let's see what Sleeping Warrior's words end up doing.
You've got a misunderstanding of what reification is, Anthony. Right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
I'm trying to give you an example. If you're on a hill with an ordnance survey map and you find your way from A to B, have you committed a reification fallacy? Because the map's not the terrain.
No, but if you measure an angle and you have the bottom angle, the bottom line, a straight line, and you then infer that the shape of the Earth must relate to the line, you are reifying that straight line angle measurement as a shape in some way to do with the shape of the Earth.
Not reifying it. No. No. You're not reifying it. You're using it as flat.
Yeah.
You're utilizing the fact that you can get a flat baseline. It's not reifying it. It's utilizing it.
Can I give it a stab, please? I'm dying here with all this nonsense. Anthony, why do you subtract from 90 the angle that you get from the sextant?
Why are they talking about angles? Were we not just talking about horizontal? These people are obsessed with angles, right? We just said about horizontal. And it's changed already.
Because vertical is never really in question, is it?
Excuse me.
No, that's not why.
90.
Vertical is never really in question. What do you reckon to that? Sleeping Warrior says vertical is never in question. Perpendicular to vertical is never in question. So is it the diverging verticals that aren't in question? Or the perpendicular verticals that aren't in question? Sleeping Warrior's playing a very dodgy game here. But they'll help him out.
It's perpendicular to horizontal. The vertical and the horizontal make a 90.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you take your angle measurement using the Earth's horizon with the horizon mirror on the sextant. You take the index arm which has a mirror and you bring the luminary down and barely scratch the surface of the horizon, waggle it left to right till you find 90 perpendicular until you say this is where it's straight.
They're all hot for this celestial navigation, aren't they? It's a big thing. Well, I call it obfuscation, right? Oh, look at the lights in the sky. We can measure an angle. Well, we were talking about the horizontal, weren't we? Yeah, but the lights in the sky and an angle. It's a good distraction, isn't it?
Right, then you say mark. And then you do the seconds first, then the minutes, then the hours, then the date, then all that. Then you go look at a book that's got all the stars with its angular relationship to...
Did he say seconds, minutes, and hours?
Yes, and days.
So that's time or angles or what? because seconds and minutes are angles, and then you go to degrees. I don't know what minutes and days have got to do with it. Well, interesting. Hey, everybody's going for the celestial navigation. Well done, 10th.
A Earth with a flat surface, because you use the horizon and you minus from 90. And you find out where the GP of the sun is and where your GP is. Those are two distinct zeniths. And you say your angle is 50 degrees from the horizon to the luminary. You minus from 90, that leaves you 40. 40 times 60 nautical miles, you're 2,400 miles from where that sun is over directly on that Earth, and that has to be flat. That's your radius line that can't bend from the circle of equal altitude.
It's a matter of fact, Anthony. Celestial navigation is done on a flat Earth. That's a statement of fact. Now, if you say, well,
people navigate by the lights in the sky.
And by the way, it is not on the flat Earth, but on the water. So they use it only on the water.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a land sextant, is there? Although it has been claimed by McToons and other logicians.
It is not needed because
we can measure it.
You can measure without the sextant because you can have stable position. So
yeah, you can actually do measurements from A to B.
Yes. Because
and all the elevation changes can be measured. Can you feel it building?
That doesn't mean the Earth's flat. Okay, you can say that if you want to.
It doesn't. Yeah,
but
well done.
My
There you
statement
go.
of fact doesn't alter what celestial navigation is and how celestial navigation is performed and what a baseline is and what this geometry is. That's what it is.
Angry.
Okay, see, again, I'm not arguing it. I'm genuinely asking because with the way Bev presents it, he presents it as though it is a reification fallacy. He doesn't explain.
Okay. As though it is a reification fallacy. Does it sound like Sleeping Warriors, a Flat Earth Society member? What's a reification fallacy?
no, he is saying that what you say, that establishing horizontal doesn't mean that the Earth is flat, and people who are doing that, they are making this reification fallacy. And I would agree, yes, because if someone is saying that by establishing horizontal plane, you are establishing Earth being flat, yes, that would be reification fallacy. So Nathan Oakley is correct in that regard. So I would agree with him. Yes. And you are avoiding that. You are saying, no, establishing horizontal line or level doesn't mean that you are established flat Earth or whatever, because it doesn't work that way. Yes. That would be reification fallacy. That you think that if you are doing something with horizontal line, it means that it affects shape of the Earth. No, it doesn't.
Explain it further than that. Whereas
Okay, I didn't get to the end of my point earlier with Bev, did I? So I presented a scenario to Bev when he was stating that to me. You can do.
Ready? This is he's talking about the time he came over here. Now Nathan did come over here a bit ago. Let us right, here we go.
I presented a scenario to Bev when he was stating that to me. You can do F all with an angle, says Bev. So I put him in a hypothetical scenario where he's out at sea, lost. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do, Bev?
Right, okay. Hypothetical scenario. What are you going to do, Bev? I say you can do fuck all with an angle. Simple statement.
Right?
So
You've got a sextant, you've got some star charts, you've got a really good clock. What are you going to do?
Oh, he's on the
Given that you
charts.
can't do anything with an angle. Do you know what he said?
You've got a sextant, star charts, and all of this other stuff. So you've got more than an angle. Yes. Yes, you haven't just got an angle. Because you can do fuck all with an angle. Nicely said, Nathan. Now, this is the challenge, right? You say you can do fuck all with an angle, geometric statement. Nathan is going to lay out a scenario.
Said his response was he'd blame the navigator. Like, so let me get it straight. You're lost at sea, and what you'll be doing, what everybody dies, is having a little row with the navigator, telling him he shouldn't have got lost. See, me, I'd be measuring angles. I'd be looking at those star charts. I'd be figuring out where the hell I was using angles. And a flat Earth. That's what I'd be doing. Because you can do things with an angle. You can find out where the hell you are using the stars. That's what you can do with an angle.
Okay, so when you've explained that, you've answered the question that I said, how do you contrast it with being a reification fallacy? You've actually answered that. Because up until that point, I was missing the bit afterwards, because Bev doesn't explain that. He just says things like you can do fuck all with an angle, or...
Yes, so you're dealing with a retard. So what...
Oh. It's retarded to say that you can do fuck all with an angle, apparently.
Yeah, but see, I think he should eat those words for a second, because Bev, you do explain you can do fuck all with the angle. You can go ahead and measure an angle. It's what you do with the angle afterwards, with your books and shit and your star charts. Like, come on, you guys. Cut Bev some slack. You guys are fucked.
No, they're Sleeping Warrior's doing exactly what he's meant to do. And Nathan's doing exactly what he's meant to do also.
What you're saying is, Bev doesn't have the slightest idea how celestial navigation... Yeah, I could have told you that. I found that out from him firsthand when I put him in a scenario lost at sea and asked him what he'd do. He didn't say measure an angle so I can save the lives of everybody on board this hypothetical ship. No, Bev, let them all die.
There you go. The answer was for being lost at sea was measure an angle. And that would have saved everybody. But because I didn't say you can measure an angle, everybody died in Nathan's hypothetical scenario.
Yes, but he was talking about some charts. So you have some...
Yeah, hang on. Nobody would have died if the navigator did his fucking job, like Bev said in the beginning.
It's a hypothetical. You just had to measure an angle and everyone would have been saved. But no, because I didn't measure an angle as my response to, oh shit, you lost at sea, what are you going to do? And I said, I'll have a word with the navigator. Because I'm not a fucking navigator. I've not got a fucking clue. Same as Nathan. He's never been on a boat. He's never done this shit. He's not got a clue himself. Now he can talk big about it as much as he wants. But answering the question to fucking measure an angle.
Yes, in this hypothetical example, we don't know where we are on the boat in this example. And measuring angle would not help anyway. So, but Nathan said that we have some charts, so magic book that would help. So not only measuring angle, but we need some other information, more information, because solely measuring angle would not help, and that's what was I think your response, because It wouldn't help.
Well, what use would it be asking me? Why did you put me on a boat in the first place?
Yes, I am referring to this hypothetical. In this hypothetical example, measuring angle would not save anyone.
Yeah. The truth is, Nathan came round here and we pointed out to him that you can do fuck all with an angle. And Nathan got really triggered. Like, really triggered. Told me I'd end up killing everybody. Got all shouty and really, really angry. Much like he's doing now. Because he's got a problem. And the problem is, you can do fuck all with an angle. It's a statement of truth. You cannot measure an angle and find out where you are. You can't do anything with it. It's just an angle. It's not a triangle. It's 1/3 of the triangle. Time to get real with these arguments. If people want to start talking about this, I'm fine with that. Anytime anybody wants to come and discuss any of this.
While he argued with the navigator. Yeah, because he's thick. He doesn't understand this argument. So when he says you can do fuck all with an angle, it's because he's thick as fuck. Not because he doesn't actually have a good grasp on it to debunk it. He doesn't. He doesn't understand the argument. Otherwise, he wouldn't be saying it, because he'd understand that you literally can stop people from dying. Like,
You can stop people from dying with an angle. That's what you can do with an angle. Nathan Oakley, 2022.
To make them immortal?
Yeah,
So,
with an angle.
Yes, with an angle. Immortal people, yes. Silly.
Yeah. A little bit strange, Nathan, but okay, we'll go along with it. You've just called me a bit.
They did in Bev's ship, hypothetically speaking. He killed everybody.
There you go.
Because he didn't know what to do with an angle.
He didn't measure an angle. He killed everyone.
You are criminalist already.
They all died.
Because
Everyone
of you. Yes,
died.
you are guilty. You are guilty. Verdict, guilty.
I agree with you. What you've done is you've explained and contrasted why it's not reification, because when Bev stops at the point where he says you measure an angle with the baseline, the horizontal or whatever, and he stops it there, that to me sounds like it's a reification of geometry into the terrain. That sounds like a reification fallacy. But when you explain it by saying...
Anthony, that's not what Bev is talking about.
Oh.
Bev is talking about horizontals and levels in surveying. Horizontals and verticals in surveying. In surveying, you use nothing but horizontals and verticals when you're measuring what the ballers claim to be curvature and everything. You don't. You're using rise over run. It's all horizontals. It's all verticals. That's what he's talking about in the surveying sense. He's not talking about celestial navigation. I can guarantee you, he does not have a clue about how celestial navigation works.
They can guarantee it because forever we've been trying to ask people, right? What is the next step after you measure an angle? What occurs? What do you do?
You relate it to your book.
Oh, look, Blue Marble's in there. Blue Marble and Nathan Oakley teaming up. The scientific method, the Blue Marble scientific method seems to be working here. Could I have saved everybody, Blue, by measuring an angle? Not killed everyone. Bit of religious angle measuring.
3 times. Hang on, leave me. I've tried 3 times, maybe more than 3 at this stage, to explain it to him. He doesn't want to know. So when he talks about horizontals and verticals, he's only talking about auto levels and measuring rods. He's not talking about celestial navigation.
Okay, so the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I heard him referencing Ruhif when he was trying to line up a debate with Ruhif. And Ruth
What? Did he say that I was trying to line up a debate with Ruhith? Is that Sleeping Warrior talking about Ruhith? Really? Like they're a team? Remember Ruhith from Sleeping Warrior, from the Isle of Man stuff with Ranty, when they went in their caravan trips? Ruhith and Sleeping Warrior have got a bit of a close relationship. I haven't ever considered a debate with Ruhith. We've tried to talk to Ruhith, but Ruhith is the guy that said that definitions are meaningless, meaning that he can just change the meaning of words in a conversation that you're having with him. He's the original diletheist. He's taught everybody a lot of things. He's taught people how to measure, put a ruler on a picture. Blue Marble's doing the same sort of thing. Chaiki's developed it from the Ruhith, from the opposite side angle, I call it. The opposite side to the angle. An impossible measurement. It's like other people. This is why, one of the reasons for everybody, if you're listening right now, one of the reasons I say you can do fuck all with an angle is because of Ruhith. Because Ruhith imagines that he can tell the size of the opposite side of the angle. He can tell the height. Ruhith's been doing it for ages. He taught it to Ranty. Ranty got a picture from the internet and put a ruler on it and went, see, the mountains are dropping. That's Ruhith, literally. I've got videos about it. Ruhith has developed that particular argument, Blue Marble scientific method of developing that. So now Nathan and the Flat Earth debate crew are also developing this method of being able to go further with that angle that you're measuring to determine the length of one of the sides. Just like Ruhith does, did. So, strange that Sleeping Warrior wants to bring this in, to bring this angle up again. And bring Ruhith into the conversation. Shout out, Ruhith. Thanks a lot. Yeah, this particular conversation with this angle has needed to be had for quite a while now. We've already sorted it. And everybody has been keeping away from us. It's like ECV. People don't want to have these particular conversations. One of them being establishing a horizontal in reality. That's a bit too much for people to take. They have to distract and deflect. And this is another one, the angle measurement. All basic geometry. Conversation's easy to have because we just need to use geometric terms. And they're already laid out. And you cannot change the definitions. So I'm welcome to anybody to have a conversation about this. Basic understanding of geometry, what is possible and what is not possible. Anytime. Anyone.
If I asked him, if we have this conversation, are you then going to claim that this has got anything to do with the shape of the earth or nothing to do with the shape of the earth? And he said, no, nothing to do with the shape of the earth. But by saying...
Sleeping Warrior, I don't know if anybody listened to the beginning of this one today. It's a video. We do True Level Bitch. I'll do it for the call out. Buster. One of Buster's classics. In that particular video, for that very song that we play all the time, there is a conversation that we have with Ruhith. And I say to Ruhith, are you okay with level being horizontal then? And he says, after you've done this test And after you've worked it all out and you say level is horizontal, will you say that has anything to do with the shape of the Earth? And I say no. And that's what Sleeping Warrior is talking about. Level being horizontal has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It just is. Provable is. That's it. Simple. So that wasn't me trying to set up a debate with Ruhif. That was me having a conversation with Ruhif. And Ruhif agreed. It was okay for him to say level is horizontal as long as you didn't think that it meant anything about the shape of the Earth. Ruhif's fine with it. So everybody knows that level is horizontal. The only difference is that I'm coming to an arena where people get really triggered about people saying that. Look at the consequences. Blue Marble's got to now. Nathan Oakley's going mad at us over the angle. It's a distraction. Focus.
Saying it the way that he says it, it makes it sound like it's reification. The geometry of the Earth is reification because he doesn't apply it to the Earth in any way. So that's why I'm asking.
Stop. Sorry, what's geometric mean again?
Geo means, yeah, I know, but where's the connection?
Don't say you know. I want the audience to hear you say it. Geo means what?
Study of the Earth.
And what does metric mean?
Measurement.
So,
do you want to hear that again? Because I think this is like a comedy routine. Now, young Timmy, gonna put you on to questioning.
Stop,
young Timmy. Answer.
Sorry, what's geometric mean again?
Geo means, yeah, I know, but where?
Answer it, Sleeping Warrior. Answer it.
No, don't just say you know. I want the audience to hear you say it. Geo means what?
Study of the Earth.
And what does metric mean?
Measurement.
Measurement,
so Earth measurement then.
Right. But where's the connection?
Between Earth measurement and measuring Earth?
Yeah.
I'll tell him. It's at level.
Yeah, but this is why that's why I asked. You contrast it from being a reification fallacy.
Let me show him. Right, for the audience's benefit, Anthony, if you're looking at the live stream, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about geometric principles. So regardless of if your assertion is a sphere.
Oh, look. He's got his own one. Blue Marble. Who proved what wrong, Blue? Where?
Geometric principles.
Bruce says Blue Marble Science says somebody's proven that level isn't horizontal. It's really good, that, Blue. Proof. Would that be an actual proof? Proven. I look forward to it whenever you're ready. It's like the Flat Earth Society's come round for having a play, isn't it?
By the way, measuring
geometry.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Measuring, yes, geometry means measuring the Earth, but it doesn't mean that, literally speaking. But you are using principles of straight lines and etc. to measure Earth. Yes, but it has nothing to do with flat Earth, because you are measuring that the Earth is not flat using geometry. So, because you are measuring elevation changes. So yes, to measure the Earth, but it doesn't mean that. It means that geometry is measuring flat Earth or whatever.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's definitely not flat. We know that because we can use the geometry to tell it's not flat. Right? In the measuring process, you can say it's not flat. Look, elevation change. It's not flat. Like a proof, right? You can use geometry to prove that the Earth is not flat. That's how we do it, Blue. Unless you're saying we can't. Because the principles that we use to be able to prove that the Earth is not flat is this horizontals being parallel to each other. That's the very principles so we can prove it's not flat. But you say, Blue Marble Science, that you have a proof that level isn't horizontal. Which is very strange, seeing as a level is a tool for establishing horizontal. I call that an internally inconsistent statement. An antinomy. Antinomy. Have you heard of that before, Paper? An antinomy.
Yes.
It's a good word, isn't it? Not an antonym. An antinomy. Google it. Everybody have a go. Google it. You'll be talking about it soon. Everyone will know what it is soon.
Or a flat Earth geometry. You're making a
flat Earth geometry? Never heard of that. Maybe you might have some proofs that the Earth is flat within flat Earth geometry, but within Euclidean geometry, just normal geometry, we can prove that it's not flat. And I've never heard of this thing called flat Earth geometry. It sounds ridiculous. Blue Marble would have seen it, though. You provided proof. You didn't provide proof at all, Blue. But nice try. Well done.
Geometric assertion. Marked with surface level.
Is he? He's pointing his arrow to a surface level in the air. What's that meant to mean? I don't understand that.
Level is established in the air, not on the surface.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, that, Nathan. I don't know what you're talking about.
In their geometry.
Whose geometry? What geometry? Were you talking about flat Earth geometry, or like there's different geometries now? Don't know. It sounds like McToon. He has different geometries. I don't know why people have developed new geometries, because it sounds fucking ridiculous. Nobody's answered that one. What's flat Earth geometry? What are you talking about?
I get that. It was the explanation. It was the explanation on a boat in the middle of the sea with angles to stars that goes the step further, that negates it or contrasts it with being reification. And because Bev doesn't address that, it leaves the question standing, which is, how is it not reification? And
he's failed.
That
Okay, so what you're saying is Bev's a failure, and his failure.
Bev's what? The failure because Sleeping Warrior can't fucking understand shit, and he's talking to Nathan to incite Nathan into getting a fucking angry fit again. Nathan's being wound up by Sleeping Warrior, talking shit about what Sleeping Warrior can't understand, about shit that he fucking well knows. Sleeping Warrior was in here. If he doesn't understand it, then he's done really well. No wonder he fucked off.
To understand the argument led him to not only disclaim to an opponent of the argument that it has nothing to do with Earth when he's talking about geometric discussions.
Oh,
He's conceded it's got nothing to do with Earth. You're not going to make any assertions about Earth when I have my ass handed to you, should you understand the argument, Bev. If you understood this argument, you'd be asking me about this flat Earth angle I've taken and whether or not...
No, I'd be saying you can do fuck all with an angle, Nathan. Come and have the discussion. Let's talk.
Not that flat Earth.
Not just me as well, there's everybody else here. And there's questions about it. And it looks like it's being brought into the forefront. It's took a year, hasn't it? It's took far too long. Bullshit.
Earth angle I've taken from the surface, the baseline, has anything to do with Earth. That geometric principle I used to get the angle, whether or not that geometric principle has anything to do with Earth. Bev said, no. Well, that's because he's a wanker and...
Thank you, Nathan. It's just an angle, Nathan. Just an angle. Calm down. You can do fuck all
I don't
with
think
that
he
angle.
actually thinks you're right. But he might have just been in the moment, you know.
He's
All right,
upset because he's given everybody the paralogism of a fucking tangent.
I know.
Nathan gave everybody that fucking tangent.
I try to defend Nathan, but I can only go so far.
It's all right. He's triggered. I mean, everybody gets triggered at something.
Yeah.
Everybody's in. Even Blue Marble and Rumpus, they're teaming up with Nathan now. Now that should tell you something. That should tell you something. It seems like there's two groups of people, both of them upset at simple, basic reality statements. Really simple shit. That should tell you something.
Doesn't understand the argument. He's being asked by his opponent if he'll ever be likely to be put in a position to lose. And Bev said, nah, I'm not going to put you in a position to lose when we talk about...
What's he talking about? What the fuck's that?
I don't know. Lose what?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I missed something.
Geometric principle has anything to do with Earth. Bev said, no. Well, that's because he's a wanker and doesn't understand the argument. He's being asked by his opponent if he'll ever be likely to be put in a position to lose.
What? That definitely Rumpus. Who was it that said that? Ruhif. Ruhif asked me if I was ever be in a position to lose. About what? It's really weird. It's strange.
And Bev said, nah, I'm not.
I didn't.
Not going to put you in a position to lose when we talk about Earth measurement. In fact, that's probably a reification fallacy when I talk about measuring Earth. No, it definitely isn't. He's just thick as shit and would let you die if you were on a boat with him because he'd tell you can do fuck all with an angle rather than saving your life with a sextant. That's what Bev does. Thick. So don't appeal for half an hour, Anthony, to this thicko who doesn't understand these arguments. Calls reification when he doesn't understand that, no, people actually navigate the terrain. They apply this to the Earth.
What? I don't think so. Did he say terrain? Does he think they use celestial navigation on the land?
I think he forgot we were on the water.
I don't know. Seems like he thinks you can do it on the terrain. I don't know. I mean, it's not my point to do that. I mean, wherever you're measuring your angles, Nathan, it doesn't really matter. You can still do fuck all with an angle geometrically. But, I mean, hey, off you go. Measure your angles on the terrain. Because they obviously do it. Somebody's told you that they do it.
And find their way home.
They find their way home. On the terrain. Measuring angles. Nobody died. Nobody died through measuring an angle. No, it's only not measuring an angle that causes people to die.
Nobody drowned on the terrain.
Let's be clear, I'm not appealing to Bev.
Anthony, you're mixing up something with what Bev is saying.
Yeah.
Bev is not making a claim about the whole Earth. What Bev is talking about is the measurement of, let's just say, an area, the slope of a mountain.
No, Bev's just talking about horizontal and level being equal to each other.
Yeah, Brian,
That's
Brian
it.
just tried to say you're talking about slopes of mountains.
They're measuring angles and getting upset that I say you can't do anything with an angle. You can do nothing.
What if you had two angles?
Call.
What if you had two angles?
Where? What are you talking about?
Well, you
You're
can't
just
do anything
waving
with-
two angles around in your hand. Like, I mean, what? It's ridiculous. I don't know. Like, you have to put a few more qualifiers down for you to be able to determine anything. If anybody's ever looked at Data, which is the follow-on book to the Elements, it tells you all of the parts that you need to be able to determine the bit that you don't have. The minimum requirements for you to work shit out. It's in a book called Data. And that has a constituent part of if you want to do trigonometry. Trigonometry requires a right-angled triangle. That's a whole triangle. And one of the angles is a right angle. Now, once you have that, you can then say, if I have another angle and a length of the side, then I can determine either one of the other sides' length. That's how you use angles and triangles to be able to predict things. We're not talking about that. We're talking about one angle. That's it. Measuring one angle. But hey, the Blue Marble team and no doubt Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate team are all very keen on being able to do something with an angle. I say it's impossible. You can't. You can do fuck all with an angle. But hey, Rumpus and Blue Marble Science and Betty and Nathan Oakley and 10th Man and Brian's Logic, and they all tell you that you can. And no doubt you've heard exactly how you can do something with this angle. You'll all know the exact procedure for determining. So, I mean, off you go.
Mountain, blah, blah, blah. But Bev won't make a claim about the whole Earth because he won't say the Earth is flat because the Earth has mountains and hills and valleys, right? So he's working off of that splitting here, right? So that's why he won't say anything about the shape of the Earth to Ruben.
Quick announcement. So we've got 100 people watching. We will go live for another 15 minutes, right? Or thereabouts, till 1:15. And if we can get 110 people watching,
Pause for
We'll
one
do a
sec.
full hour on this Rufus video because we haven't covered a single.
Is flat a shape? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Brian.
Flat is not shape. Circle is shape. Square is shape. On a surface, flat surface of the paper, for example. Flat is not shape.
Yeah.
Earth doesn't have a shape.
25 seconds.
Yeah, I've never said I know the whole. I mean, how could I possibly know the whole? I just live in England. I'm a carer. I don't get a chance to go on holiday or anything like that. So
I wouldn't hear you be that arrogant.
we have this thing called epoche.
So share the show. If we can get the viewing figures up, I will bribe you with extra live content. Hopefully, we can get the live numbers up. Anyway,
This needs a summary. And Anthony, this needs a summary. After you're done, I'd like to give my version.
Okay, but this is because somebody somewhere, I can't remember who it is, they say that if you can't explain it sufficiently so that a 5 or a 6-year-old understands it, you don't understand it yourself. It has to be simplified.
Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
No, Anthony's
Right, and because there was a gap in what Bev was explaining with regards to the angle and how it applies against the shape of the Earth, there was a gap there because he said it has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth when Ruiff specifically asked him that question. Then the logical consequence of that for me was, well, if it has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, why is it not reification? Hence why I asked. Now, because you explained it with an angle at sea and stars.
What does that mean? If measuring an angle has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, then why is it not reification? Is that what he said? Well, I always like to make sure what the Flat Earth Society means when they say things, because
how it applies against the shape of the Earth. There was a gap there because he said it has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth when Ruiff specifically asked him that question. Then the logical consequence of that for me was, well, if it has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, why is it not reification? Hence why I asked.
Why is it not reification? Is that a double not?
Yes.
If it's not that, then why is it not that?
Why he should ask why it is, because it is not.
That's very strange. That, I mean, they'll pick it up though, right? Or he might just be talking fast.
It's a strange question.
Yeah.
Explained it with an angle at sea and stars and saving people's lives. Now I understand how it applies.
When you explain it with saving people's lives with angles on the boat with the lights in the sky, then that's easy to understand that. Soon as you save people's lives with it, oh, that made it much better.
Well, because Bev couldn't and didn't do that and said it has nothing to do with it, there was a void there that should have not been avoided. It should have been addressed.
Maybe Bev should try thinking.
Yes, correct.
Bev calls the Nautical Almanac the magic book.
The magic
book.
book.
Bev doesn't know anything about it.
Bev calls the magic book the magic book. Because nobody's ever shown it. Nobody's ever said anything. It's literally, they're keeping it safe. Like Joseph Smith, is it?
Celestial navigation. He doesn't want to know anything about celestial navigation. He has chosen, and I mean this, and I have the evidence, chosen to be ignorant.
I've not chosen to be ignorant. We have asked people about this sort of stuff, and nobody's ever really been able to explain it because they all get too triggered. Because when we point out that you can do fuck all with an angle, and we ask them what they're doing with it, they've never answered.
That is Brian, right? Brian's logic.
That's Brian's logic, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. He says this live on their show when he was over here holding a presentation, in quotes, explaining this process. And
Yeah.
it was pointed out
Yeah.
by both me and Paper to him, to
It's
his
that
face.
one side fucks me over. Like I have to undo the shit that I can't get at.
Oh, Rob, hot mic.
I've got him. Go on.
Both me and Paper pointed out the error in the geometry that he was presenting, claiming as proof when we showed him. Both of us showed him that it cannot be proof because it's impossible. So yeah, it's just interesting to me how he's now blatantly lying on a show that he's part of.
Right? And when he says he's not measuring the Earth, he is measuring the Earth if he's using geometry and surveying. That is the measuring the Earth. He may not be making a claim about the whole Earth, but he is measuring at least a portion of it, of the Earth.
I would sort of say, I mean, what is it that you're measuring? You're measuring the height of the horizontal plane above the Earth. So what is it that you're measuring? Using an auto level. You're measuring the difference between the
Change
levels.
of elevation.
Yeah, the change of the levels of the horizontal planes. That's it.
Elevation above a reference.
Yeah. That's it. You're not really measuring the land. You're measuring the height of the horizontal plane, the level.
Whether it be big or small. That's what surveying does.
He's choosing to be ignorant, Brian.
Hold on. I would like to point at this time we have moved far enough away from the video that the ballers could consider this a win.
Yeah.
You say if it was an audience member going, you know what, I absolutely pummeled them in those 25 seconds we had.
Yeah. That's what they declare in they declare victory at all times, no matter what, no matter how bad it is. I heard what's his name, Blue Marble Science. I heard him claiming a victory against Bev, and Bev absolutely pummeled him, but he still claimed it anyway. And I was like, this is just embarrassing for Blue Marble Science.
Let's get into a bit.
Anyway, let's get to the video.
Yes.
At that point.
Okay. Nathan ends it there. That's the end of Nathan's show. Let me come back to the Discord. Here we go. Right. So what do you reckon to that? Blue Marble's been in the chat whilst we've been listening to that, claiming victory, saying that he's got some sort of proof. A different sort of proof than what we think. It must be a Blue Marble's scientific proof. Like a not proof, but Blue obviously imagines that he's got something that he imagines that is a proof, but like most of Imaginometry, it's all done in the mind. It can't ever be performed in reality, literally, because it's fantasy. I think it's time we got a little bit real about all of this sort of stuff and let everybody know that there are surveying methods that people do in reality. And then there are people within this arena that have just basically been lying to you. They've become gatekeepers of something that they sort of know. There's a bit of a misunderstanding about it. There's a misunderstanding about geometry. People imagine it to be like far too advanced within mathematics, and like just far too much for them to handle. But geometry is simplicity. It is breaking stuff down to the basics. It's sort of been done to formulate mathematics upon originally, because geometry formed on logic has no lie. It always seeks the truth and cannot be faulted. True logic, call it logos. But then when they built mathematics upon that, there came an honesty behind it. And they didn't build it upon numbers, because numbers are flawed, or there is a flaw within the numbers. Numbers have no basis on anything. You need something to base your understanding upon, and that understanding is the logic within geometry. Seems like a lot of people have forgotten about that. People like to talk about fallacies and whatnot. Well, that is literally the rooting out of inconsistencies, contradictions, falsehoods. And that is shown to perfection through geometry. You can definitely observe a truth and a false through geometry. And also geometry proves itself to be like the only geometry. That's how proofs work. It's those proofs that we use to be absolutely certain when we say you can do fuck all with an angle. That's the truth. The same as triangles have 180 degrees internal angles. A circle, 360, 4 right angles. Squares are formed by 4 straight lines that meet together at right angles. Those 4 lines are all equal and perpendicular to each other at the corners. Very simple. Everybody knows the rules of geometry. Everybody knows what a triangle is. Everybody knows what a square is. The simplicity that's involved within the geometry is the problem for people like Blue Marble Science, and obviously for people like Nathan Oakley. He can't seem to understand that you can measure an angle. And if you're measuring an angle on the terrain, like he says, you are at an elevation. It's very simple. Very, very simple, all of this stuff. That's why it gets me confused as to why people don't want to come and talk about it. Switch the kettle on. Anyway, past.
They were going on like towards the end about geometry, what the word means, and reification fallacy, and this sort of conversation, and how geometric principles has to do with the Earth. That was interesting because that sounded ridiculous to me because of what you've just said. Is the actual fact. The geometric principles involved are all logically derived and stand on their own. It has absolutely zero to do with the Earth. However, it's called geometry because we can use those principles, logical principles, to measure with.
Yeah, measure the land, the Earth, in that very geometry is the land, not the water.
Yep.
Nobody, when they made geometry for Earth measurement, they weren't measuring lights in the sky on the water. That's not what it was meant for. Because there's a foundational reason for me saying this. You can do fuck all with an angle. We've been saying it for ages. And it was said specifically because somebody came round and told us they could tell where they were by measuring an angle. The natural response is you can do fuck all with an angle. I keep saying it. That should go on a t-shirt. Except nobody'd know what it fucking means. It's very specifically targeted at a very specific group of people. And that group of people know who they are. Simply because of what they do. It's meant for Rufus. But it seems like other people got triggered by it. It's pretty sad, really. Why people start calling other people names and stuff for stating geometric facts. Almost like another group of people. The Blue Marble scientific community. It's pretty sad when it comes to this. But we carry on. We still keep doing the same thing. Anybody else got anything else for Free for All Friday? Do you want me to talk some more about people going mad? I've got plenty more about horizontal dropping away. Oh no, horizontal sloping. Rumpus has showed the horizontal sloping. Blue Marble says that level drops from horizontal, so is that an elevation change, or does do you reckon Blue Marble puts the slope to it like Rumpus? Shout out to the Realising Euclid test. And we do have a test actually that shows about how no part of a straight line lies within the plane and no other part lies without the plane, right? The straight line carries on within the plane, showing that the horizontal lies within the plane. Who's trying to get Bev's attention? What's that? Who's trying to get my attention? Gods. It's a bit weird. I reckon Nathan's trying to get my attention.
Maybe this is drama before ending of year or something like that. I don't know. Just to create new topic for Christmas. I don't know.
You get a bit of drama. Maybe they got another. They're hyping it up for another flat Earth proof. #1 flat Earth proof, and gonna get rid of this one, like they got rid of the Black Swan ridiculous argument. Nobody can use these arguments. They're ridiculous. They're never formed well enough. Sorry. I just think arguments should be simple. They should engage conversation with anyone. And I don't think they should ever end with people ripping anybody's arseholes or anything like that. It sounds a little bit weird. Yeah, that one with Nathan Oakley, you know, that was only the live show. There's an after show to go with that. I don't know how long he went for. Who knows what was said in that? How much more people want to just have a go at me for doing whatever. I mean, I can't imagine why anybody's even watching. Nathan Oakley says I'm a wanker and dumb, stupid, and Blue Marble says I'm stupid and wrong, and Rumpus says I'm a liar, and Brenda says I'm a child abuser, and other people say all sorts of different things about me. Really strange, because I'm only really saying that level is horizontal. Here's the proof. Who knows why people do what they do? Just to try and get out of a conversation, I think.
I would say that Globers want you to say that level is not horizontal, and flat earthers want you to say that level being horizontal proves flat earth. So they have different demands about the same thing.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't prove flat earth. In fact, it proves it's not flat. And I think that upsets the globe guys as well, you know. Because since they don't have a proof, apparently, no proofs, apart from Blue Marble, who seems to have developed one. He's found the one and only Blue Marble scientific proof. That they've never had one yet. It's a new one. It's great. Blue Marble's managed to find the only proof that anybody's willing to accept, except nobody else is willing to accept a proof. Only Blue Marble. So he's been put forward to do this all on his own. And I actually have a very simple proof that the Earth is not flat. And that triggers both the flat earthers and the globe earthers. So sorry, guys. Yes, there are proofs. And yes, we have a proof that the Earth is not flat. Sorry. Now, if you want to come and see that proof for yourself, just to make sure that it is a proof, and a proof is formed within a syllogism, a logical statement, that sort of the mind is compelled to accept the proof. There's no other way around it. You can't deny a proof once it's done through syllogistic form and presented in an obvious way. It cannot be denied. That's the problem. The shit that we've got cannot be denied. Yet models tell them that they get upset with it. It's fine though, because it's logic. I can't go against it. And I don't think anybody can really. And that's half of what's going on here. Nobody wants to address the actual issue of reality. Everybody wants to live in these fantasies that everybody's created for themselves. These little communities. It's a very strange situation. But it looks like we're going to war. I don't know why, who, what. We're just small little YouTube channel with some very loyal followers, I think. Followers, people who listen. Just welcome, guys. It's going to get very, very dark for anybody that's here hate watching. I don't want to hurt you, so I'm thinking sort of this weekend we might be doing a warning, like a disclaimer and a warning for people with a model, because we will be exposing antinomies of the globe antinomies. What we're going to be doing coming up is we will be we will be using advanced simplicity, the method we've developed here of breaking things down to its simplest form. We'll be using that particular method to break down global antinomies. Check it out. It's going to be good. Oh. That's what's going to be coming up. Check it out. Do you know what an antinomy is, everybody?
Expression where one of the premises is not stated there, but it is inside, but it's not stated.
Here we go. This is thank you. Buster came with a word. We quite often get this. Logos gives us these things, and we're quite big on words and, you know, how they're used. So you guys, yeah, you got that there. See that?
This is something else.
Antinomy.
Okay, so not what we're talking about. Anthememe.
Yeah, not antimeme. No.
Okay,
this is
okay.
Antinomy. Get used to it, because this is great. Spot on like this as well, because we're all into these words, right? So antinomy, Greek, meaning against, in opposition to, and law. Against, in opposition to, and law. Remember those, because we'll get back to that in a bit. Refers to a real or apparent mutual incompatibility of two laws. It is a term used in logic and epistemology, particularly in the philosophy of Immanuel Kant. There are many examples of, well, it's a Greek word, so I'd say Kant may have used it, but don't be thinking Kant made it up. It's been there for a long time. If it's got a Greek word, yeah. There are many examples of antinomy. A self-contradictory phrase such as there is no absolute truth can be considered as an antinomy, because the statement is suggesting in itself to be an absolute truth. There is no absolute truth is a statement that, if it is true, makes the statement false. That's what they call antinomy. And therefore denies itself any truth in its statement. A paradox such as "this sentence is false" can also be considered as to be an antinomy. For the sentence to be true, it must be false, and vice versa. Antinomy. Now, you may be thinking, oh, that's a funny word, but you've heard it before. You've heard of a synonym.
Yes, synonym. It means the same meaning.
Okay, what's the opposite of that?
Anti.
Yeah,
Anti.
an antonym.
Anti.
An antonym. The opposite of, meaning as opposed to. Same root word. The opposite of. Now, I've got this here. This is level. Okay. Why's he got level? Well, level and the synonyms. Aligned and constant and equivalent, even, exact, flush, horizontal, synonym. All right. Don't get triggered, guys. It's only there. It's only in the synonyms of the dictionaries.
Below.
Matching, parallel. Oh, how could level be parallel as a synonym? But again, don't get worried about it. Don't, like, that's nothing to worry about.
They're just words.
They're just
don't
words.
worry about it. Yeah.
And plain and polished and regular. These are words that are synonyms, right? Now, do you want to go to the antonyms of, like, just this one? I mean, you can look at and do this for yourself anywhere. Put it in there, and then we'll go down here. Antonyms. Look at this one. See that?
Divergent verticals.
That's an antonym. Isn't that weird? How can divergent be an antonym? That must have got that wrong somewhere. Right, Blue? That's got to be wrong, hasn't it?
Uneven.
Yeah, but divergent. Divergent. Antonym. The opposite of. Is it any wonder that Blue's built his whole thing and he's been handed a load of numbers from two old dudes that went up mountains that didn't do a fucking surveying procedure. They just looked at other theodolites and built that on what you call it, a stolen concept. Literally, he's built an argument and his proof is the opposite of level. That's right, isn't it, Blue? Divergent verticals is what you had as your result. And divergent is literally the opposite of level. How could you have possibly done that? You've gone past all of these ones. We've been telling you this for ages. Horizontal is synonym. It's the same. All of these words are the same. For fuck's sake. This is an opposite. Yet, Blue Marble's gone with it. He's been led into it. Remember how many times we've been telling everybody, told Jeff ages ago, stolen concept. Told Wally, stolen concept. It's almost as big a stolen concept of imagining you can do shit with an angle. You're magicking shit out of nowhere. Whereas these guys are fucking hiding it. How many people do you think they've convinced about divergent verticals? Geometrically. Divergent. I love it. It's Blue, has he gone quiet? He'll have gone do a live stream. He'll have been presenting with Rumpus or something. Brenda to do a presentation on logic. It's got horizontal within the synonyms of level. But disregard that. That can't be true. So what we'll do is we'll put divergent perpendiculars in there, because that'll help us. Back to Discord. So if anybody wants to come and discuss any of these things, anytime, any of the guys from the Flat Earth Debate crew or anything, really, we're open for discussion. And it's not. I don't take it personally about you calling me dumb, wanker, and all of that sort of stuff, Nathan. I know it's just sort of drama to hype your channel up. It's okay, understandable. Blue Marble does it as well. He allows Rumpus to come on because I think that's what this arena's like. This flat Earth debate arena that Blue Marble Science and the scientific community of the Blue Marble get involved in, and it's placated as well by people like Nathan. Everybody seems to enjoy it quite a lot. Not really our sort of cup of tea here. We like to just do the actual arguments and stuff and the talking. But yeah, if you want to have a conversation, then we can. We did say we'd go round to Gem Pandas as well. Maybe that's what's got Nathan all upset, that we've not been over there to his to have a conversation. Because every time I've ever been over to Nathan's, actually, like Nathan said, when he came over here, he told me I'm going to kill everybody. And he proper did a shouty thing. I imagined he had a big red face and he was like spitting and all sorts. Seemed like he was proper triggered. Oh, not triggered, angry. He got really upset. And then obviously that time with QE and Adam, that's another time that we did it. And yeah, there's quite a few strange circumstances that have been over there. So I thought that you guys didn't want us over there, and it seems like you don't. That's fine. That's okay. Like I said, we're not flat earthers. And it's okay if you get upset at us saying it's not flat. That's expected. People always get upset. Especially when they've got their own point of view, right? They've got their own idea that you can do magical things with angles. Does anybody have anything else? Just me sort of having to deal with a load of people seem to be calling me stupid, dumb. I don't know what for though. Did anybody present any argument for it? Did Nathan just say that I didn't measure an angle so everybody died? Was there actually an argument come forth?
I would say that if you even measured this angle, they would die also. Measuring angle would not save them from death.
Well, in the hypothetical scenario that Nathan set up, It did. That was the magic trick that you did in order to save everybody. And that, I'm guessing that's how you do questioning for people. You know, I mean, if that's what
Thank you,
flat Earth
Mobius.
debate is turned into. Oh, sorry, Rob. You were hot micing right in the middle of Saragaki.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. I was just about to hit the mic, and you muted me, and then I couldn't get back in. I've been playing with the YouTube chat for a while, laughing it up with them.
Wow. Mike, oh, I don't know what you can be doing with that. Dog. He was the one that did that spitting violently. He has a really weird reaction as well to certain things. He reacts like Nathan Oakley. Yeah, no hard feelings, Nathan. I don't want to upset anybody by saying geometric facts, but I guess you've got to do what you've got to do in order to keep your stuff going. I am only a carer, so I don't particularly bother. I'm only doing this for, well, like I say, I'm only here doing these live shows because people misrepresent me and say all sorts of weird shit. Look at it. I know, yeah, Nathan's got stuff to protect. He's got his thing. And I've never been a flat earther. I mean, I don't know what's going on. There's quite a few of us here, like, that aren't flat earthers. We just normal people living in reality. People want to label us, but we're not. Don't give a shit, basically. Don't give a shit what you think of the Earth at all. Makes no difference. Just what you talk about. Try not to talk about that shit, though. Who gives a shit about it? Who can have a conversation without mentioning the Earth? You could have a conversation with geometry. Although Earth measurement, like we said, the root word of it. But we can have conversations about geometry that don't involve the Earth or the shape of the Earth. And because there's a really strange group of people that are obsessed with it. One group of people don't have proofs, and the other group of people don't seem to understand what proofs are, even though they do claim to use geometry. Because the true heart of this is, there's an argument going around, right, where people measure an angle and then do stuff with it, right? You can't do that in geometry. There's a, there's a proof that that's just an angle. Can't do anything with that. And if you can't do anything in geometry with just an angle, you're not really going to be able to do anything in reality with just an angle. There's no magic trick to allow you to do something you can't do in geometry in reality. That literally doesn't exist. So anytime anybody wants to talk about that particular issue, then we can. We've got a test. We've got all sorts of stuff. We've done all sorts of stuff on the beach for optics. We've done all sorts of stuff for testing levels to show everyone. We've been to Bedford with the level and the cameras. We've got all of that. And we've talked about it in here many times. Anybody wants to come in and ask us about it, you can see it. I'm only stating facts. And somebody's telling me that I need to prove that level is horizontal. I'm the one, supposedly. Yeah, trigonometry is Euclidean. You can't do anything unless you have triangles. Triangles have 180 degrees. It's required for you to do trigonometry. It's oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't literally. I mean, apart at my age, I'm really wondering what the fuck's going on. Because there are people similar to my age around here that seem to be going mad. Don't know why. Well, I do. All to do with the model, but it's not real. Reality is real. Conceptions that you have and concepts that you have. But they only exist in your mind. Reality is real. What can you do? What can you do? So no doubt I'll be talked about in all of these things. I mean, I'm thinking this is one of the ripples of the debate. Everybody's jealous that I'm the one that got to debate level is horizontal and all horizontals being parallel.
I have a question about what Sleeping Warrior, like the way he brought that up, the whole thing up. It was about a reification, and I don't understand what his angle was on that. No pun intended.
No. Well, no, that's the idea. I think that is how flat Earth society works, or these sophistry techniques. You don't know what he was doing, so now you're trying to imagine what he might have done, and you're bringing it forward to ask us to imagine what he might have meant.
Yeah.
I don't know. Simple is, the only person that can explain that would be Sleeping Warrior. What was the point in bringing up, trying to say something about a reification?
I don't know. I don't know. But the whole time, it was funny to me, though, because the whole time I thought like that was part of the sextant argument. And the whole time there's a GP. And to me, that's a reifying the star to a physical point on the ground, which is weird to me. But yeah, you're right.
And I don't know whether anybody knows all of this sort of stuff, but yes, Sleeping Warrior has been down. We did, I particularly in the beginning planning part of it, we took him to the canal where me and Spot On actually did the Realising Euclid test, and showed him and explained to him the many different ways that we could do what we were going to do. And he didn't get it. Literally stood at the side of a 26-mile canal in between locks, and he didn't understand the Realising Euclid test, why we went to the canal to do the test in the first place, the specific place on the canal that we went to where the first sod was dug on that canal, when they dug that canal. He didn't get it. So it's no wonder that he doesn't get whatever that was. I mean, I literally don't know, some sort of reification. Seemed like he reified something that he wanted to do that he didn't understand, and he wanted to then to allow him to not understand it, because he said he understood it once. Nathan told him that he could measure an angle on a boat and that people's lives were in danger. Seemed to understand that.
I was cracking up. That's hilarious. Bev, you're gonna let everybody die? Sorry.
There was a few people in here when Nathan did come round for that, and that was pretty much what he was like. A bit more spitting and frothing at the mouth as he was saying it.
Yeah, imagine he had to wipe the screen.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I was here for that. It's been a while since that happened, but that was an amazing Saturday. I am so glad I was here for that.
Yes. But I mean, everybody, I'm glad that we have the people that we do. That, you know, people that are watching us for what we do. I'm not too sure that this group of people that we have are the same group of people that watch Nathan Oakley. I don't think we have the same group of people that watch Blue Marble Science or Rumpus. It's a different sort of thing. And we do different things.
Hang on. Yeah, I just want to say, as somebody who is here every day and I watch this show every day, I also watch Nathan Oakley every day.
You watch everyone.
Yeah, I watch a lot of shit, but I don't actually watch everything. It's usually just my phone on the counter and I got a Bluetooth piece in my ear and I work all day and I just listen to shit. Pipe up sometimes with a hot mic. But yeah, I listen to everybody. And just because you entertain an idea doesn't mean you believe everything that you hear.
Yeah. The mark of an educated mind is being able to entertain an idea without accepting it.
Hey, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment.
That's good. Who claimed that I recorded it yet never aired it?
That's true. How do you get lost on a boat in the middle of nowhere after you've already
Nathan Oakley hypothetically places you there.
Oh. how did you get there? Like, did you just did somebody not already have a sextant there, or in this situation?
Well, that's the starting point of the situation.
No, they just they put the sextant in the drawer and then just said, "Hey, for a week we're just gonna float here and see where we end up," and then we're lost.
Like an escape room.
Yeah.
Well, I've asked the question before. What did people do before the sextant was invented? Because that was what, the 1700s, 1800s. I mean, Saragaki's people have been seafarers for a long time. I don't think they had sextants.
Saragaki's people. Didn't they?
What do you mean, Saragaki's people?
They had birds, didn't they? And they're like, "Hey, follow the bird. Yeah, birds are gonna go to land."
There you go. Or a star, I guess. Right?
That too.
Follow a star. You don't need to get an angle to a star if you know what the star is. You just go there.
The sun's a star, they say.
Sun's a star, yeah.
There's
You know that's
definitely a light
east.
in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the fuck are we?
And that was funny, though, that the starting position of that hypothetical situation is you're starting off out in the middle of nowhere, lost at sea. And he says, no, you're not allowed to blame the navigator. Like, how that beep did we end up here? Like, that's obviously somebody's fault. Nathan is not taking the blame, of course.
Yeah,
you can't even ask the navigator anything. Like, it was literally there was only one answer allowed.
How many people are gonna die? How big is the boat? I mean, come on. Does it have oars or just sails? Are the sails broken? Like what? No, everything works fine.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, really. And I do know that after all of the time we've been here, seems like people don't want to talk. More and more times, people don't want to talk.
I mean, at least Blue did come over and talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I like I say, I think that's the pinnacle. I don't think you can get any better than that. I honestly don't think anybody will ever get to debate level is horizontal again. Can't imagine why I managed to get it. I can't imagine why Blue Marble Science wanted to debate that very thing. Seems crazy to me. But I'm guessing.
Yeah, that was like one step removed from debating logic as a topic, I feel. Like debating on level being horizontal, which is an established fact of reality, seems crazy to me as well. And since it's an established fact, aka it can easily be proven in reality, obviously based on the logic that goes into the proof, it's just one step removed from debating logic in general, I feel. So 2023 is going to be interesting.
Yes, especially from opponent side, how to use logic to disprove logic in debate.
Yes.
That would be hard.
I wonder what it's going to be the
But
year of
that's
now.
what it's going to
The year of logic.
If I were to debate someone on logic, and the opponent would try to disprove logic, every sentence he says, I would say that he is disproving his point because he's using words and sentences, and that is logic. So he cannot do that. Only blah, 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 blabbling would be allowed from his side, because otherwise he would disprove his point.
He'd have to do everything within interpretive dance or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Waving hands or spelling spells, I don't know, whatever, but not logic.
The year of the, I don't know what do you call like boats in UK? Like it's like the USS Oakley. You're stranded on it. Now what? You're fucked.
Yeah. The only thing you can do is measure an angle. What are you going to do?
Or everyone
dies. It's like, okay, we'll measure an angle. Thank you. Thank you. The Earth is flat. It's like, what? Where did that come from? What's going on? Can't be like, I mean, what? Really?
But anyway, they will die anyway. Yeah. But the Earth is flat. Okay.
Bev measured an angle. It's okay, people. It's okay.
Calm down.
Everybody lives.
Calm down. Keep calm and angle.
Measure angles and live.
Measure angle and let live. 00007.
Oh, and gotta have a sextant, and you gotta have an almanac.
Well, no, because you've only got an angle, remember?
No.
You've got an angle, a timepiece, and a magic book.
Yes. And several dozen people.
Yeah, several different people relying on leaving their lives in your hands.
The sweat's like just pouring off your face. Oh God, it's all up to me.
The difference would be that when you measure the angle, they will die in a piece. But if you didn't measure angle, they will die in torment.
And in the hypothetical, you're not even the navigator, so why is it on your shoulders in the first place?
Yeah, I've never been on I've been on a ferry across to France.
Yes. Well, I mean, could you? Yeah, you wouldn't be able to use a cell phone because there's no towers. Maybe a CB or a walkie-talkie. Ask somebody, hey, where am I?
Don't know. It could have been a sailboat. He didn't particularly specify the type of boat, whether we'd have a navigation system on it or not.
Oh, I know. It's an airplane that crashed. Which movie is this?
It's a ridiculous scenario anyway, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
Putting somebody on a boat in the middle of nowhere. And then saying,
with
can
women,
you
children,
use this angle measuring device as a GPS unit?
Take me to Paris, or everyone die.
Where are you? Because I'm pretty sure there's been many boat journeys where they go, where are we?
Where are we now?
Yeah. Holy shit, where the fuck are we?
I do that on land sometimes.
Has anyone got a clue? It's like, nah. Any ideas? Nope. None.
Well.
Break out the protractor. I'll have this done in a jiffy. Because Fight the Flat Earth said he can do it using a plumb bob. He taught his children how to do it. Just using a plumb bob. So I don't know why you're talking about them needing measuring angles. What? Fight the Flat Earth can just dangle a plumb bob.
You just use your shoestring. Hopefully there's fishing poles. Go fishing.
Okay, I am off to bed. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you very much, Paper. See you later.
See ya.
What time is it? Getting close to midnight. Michael Jackson now, isn't it? Well, we did say we're going to go to Gem Pandas. I don't know whether it'll be this weekend or not. Depends. Maybe we might do it next weekend. We'll see. Obviously, things are really hotting up. So if anybody wants to come in and have a chat, this weekend's going to be the time. And come over, introduce yourself. Come and have a conversation or whatever. It doesn't really matter. We're going to be probably gaming all this weekend. So come on in. It is also Paddy's fighting this weekend, isn't he? I think it's going to be a late one though. Okie dokie. So, anybody got any final words? I'll sort of bust her out again. We're going to do true level bitch again. Because that's what Sleeping Warrior was talking about. Listen to the end of that one. If you want to hear the actual clip, come in Discord. Ask us for it. I've got loads of clips of people saying stupid shit that go back ages. And get ready for the using advanced simplicity to break down global antinomies. Get some rap lyrics wrote. There's going to be some good music coming soon. Everybody get ready for it. Buster meets On the Level. Anyone? Final words before we go? No. Okay. True level bitch. For Sleeping Warrior.
Yes, this is basic geometry. Your flat Earth geometry. Flat Earth geometry. This is basic geometry.
It is.
I called you a flat earther.
My name's Ramsey.
Insisting that your flat Earth geometry will work.
I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad naked caveman eyeball in a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry.
Did he say a five-sided square question mark?
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
You're drunk.
I called you a flat earther.
You want to experience true level? Do you? Yes. You want to experience true level?
That auto level is establishing a horizontal. That's just the way it is.
Because I've done the test with an auto level, which gives you a horizontal.
Yeah, it's gonna look super flat.
All right, come on.
3 coplanar points.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a 5-sided square.
Are you suggesting that horizontal can't curve?
Everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Randy, come on, that's a globe. He eventually just gave up and said, yeah, I agree, it's a globe.
Geodesic is a continuous string of infinitely small, straight lines.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
It's really flat and level now.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Lance to the cosmic slaughter! Well, you seem to be in charge of what I get to remember. Why? Good question.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little. Wow, it's so. Oh my god! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a 5-sided square.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch. Wow, it's so. Oh my god! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Person to think.
When you get to the end of this test and you have a result and you say level is horizontal and everyone says big whoop, that doesn't prove anything about the shape of the earth, will you then say yes it does?
No.
No, okay, I'm going to bed. Right.
Okay, so you...
I'm going to bed.
That level is horizontal is good for you then, right?
I agree. I agree level's horizontal. All
Sweet.
right,
true level, bitch.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nice, mate. I came
Nice.
in just for that.